Good evening, baseball fans, dead ball fans, 19th century fans, scallywags, ne'er-do-wells, blackguards, and financiers. This is Beatles Eternally back with you. Happy New Year. So here we are. We are game 119 of the Ned McGreevy Nuff Said League. So we have about 30 games to go, if that. And before we get into tonight's game, which I haven't decided yet what we're going to do, I wanted to talk about the film function. This was something that I've never really looked at too much, but it's very, very cool. So we'll look at that, and also just a couple other things. And again, this was going off of Steve Tate's wonderful reporting broadcast that he did on New Year's Eve, so 2 days ago. So do check that out. Sports Time Machine says good night for Pittsburgh sports. Yeah, I don't follow that game, as you know. My thing with that, and that's good for Pittsburgh, I guess. But when a team that just right, I mean, I heard they were like four, and so, I don't know, they were just a game below. Now they're at 500, and they're actually still alive, and they theoretically could make the Super Bowl. I don't know. I find that, eh. But if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, I guess you're happy, and that's cool. Anyhow, Sports Time Machine, definitely, folks, subscribe to that channel. It's excellent, excellent, and good to see you, Mike, and Happy New Year. So we're going to talk about this film function. This is really cool. So I have this set up now, right now, that we're showing headlines from recent games. I'll be switching this back to upcoming. So anything, these things that we can click on, as Steve already told us, will bring up the box score for that game. Over here, I have a search set up for just the most runs by one team, runs both teams in a game, low runs, yada, 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 yada. Okay? So we're just going to pick one just here at random just to show you this really neat thing because there's always a lot of talk about play-by-play and stuff like that. And Action PC Baseball intelligently tracks stats. Boy, that's hard to say at 11:25 p.m. Eastern Time, but it does. It's really cool. So we're just gonna look at one of these crazy games. So there was a game on August 10th that St. Louis scored 17 runs. So let's bring that up. And there's cousin Ken Castro. He says hello, and also saying hello to Mike and to Robert Wartberg. So right now we're looking at the usual box score that we see, but you should see something a little different. So usually, first, let's go back here. When a game completes, this is what pops up, right? And we see that St. Louis crushed Bellingham 17-7 on this game. Um, and it just so happens in this game that St. Louis has scored the most runs in a game in our season with 17. And there's MV saying, hello, gents. It was and there, so good to see MV. Oh, it was an excellent uh, evening, cousin Ken, hanging out with somebody in some absolutely amazing black leathers and high boots, and yeah, it was great. It was good night. So and judged a singing contest last night as well. So, but this is what comes up, and we see, of course, the weather and all that, right? We can go to just look at the batting. We can go to pitching, the miscellaneous, which we look at the end of the game. Of course, score sheets for you guys that like to keep score sheets. Recap. So recap's fun, and again, we've talked about recap a little bit. This kind of gives you a blow by blow what went on in the game, and then sort of who did what. So Elmer Flick in this game went 3 for 6. Gene de Montreville went 2 for 5. Da 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 da. Then you have the play-by-play, right? This is kind of just a play result, right? What happens? This is just it will go like on the 1-2 pitch. Fred Clark flied to very deep left center. One out, blah blah blah. But what I wanted to turn your attention to, Ken Castro says just finished a 4-0 sweep in a What If World Series 1994 Expos versus the White Sox, and Montreal won it. it comes to baseball. Bring in the year of thrill baseball. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Again, this project really the brainchild of Ken Castro. What I want to show you guys, for you Action PC guys, this is something I've never really used too much, is this thing called film. What film basically does is it is all the play-by-play throughout the game. And what I noticed as I was playing with this earlier tonight is how well this tracks stats versus teams when there's a situational thing that comes up. But you could go through this whole thing, right? So, beginning of the game, of course, there's no score, first inning, nobody out, and that on shows you if there's a runner on first, second, or third, right? So I want to just track down here a little bit. And I want to find something where it's specifically talking about how someone's doing against a team, and it's really cool. Not that this is anything new, but like right here. So if we look in the fourth inning, St. Louis is leading Bellingham 10-0. There's two outs, runners on second and third. Here's Corcoran steps in against Groom. He's hitting 131 against right-handers. So it will track that. It will also track how hitters are doing against a team, how a pitcher's doing against a team. And this also gives you an idea of the play-by-play that I really don't consult the play-by-play, but it's really good. And play-by-play is customizable. But I just wanted to show the Action PC owners um, just how really good this is. It's very, very descriptive. Very, very close, even I would say, to Diamond Mine Baseball. So just read this one, right? Huggins faces Corcoran, runner on first. Here's the 0-1 count. Huggins rips, well hit grounder up the middle. Jennings heads to his left field. It could be two. He flips it to second for one. Groom goes hard into Demontreville onto first, double play. So you'll see that in Diamond Mine Baseball as well. Diamond Mine does have a way of creating more tension, I think, in its play-by-play. But this is really, really good. But what else is cool about this is we can search by player in this little box up here. We can search by a team or a phrase. So let's say that we want to do a search on all mentions of Turkey Mike Donlin. So I type in Donlin, right? And now if I scroll back up, every time Donlin is mentioned, and Donlin apparently was very busy, went 5 for 5 with 2 runs batted in, right? So we can see here in the first inning with 2 outs, Donlin steps in through 1 count into close, draws the walk, right? So Donlin is going just all the way through anytime the Turkey Mike Donlin is mentioned. So here in the 7th, Donlin comes up against Mays 2-0 pitch. Donlin swings, so that's nice. We can do terms like steal. First baseman Connor steps in, 2 for 2 today. Connor drove in a run with a single and scored in the runner on first. Lever checks the runner on first. The first pitch to Connor. Donlin is going. The pitch is a strike. Bouchon fires to second. Not a chance. Safe. Steal number 15 for Donlin. And it just happened that Mike Donlin had the steal. Maybe I want to do. I don't know. Well, I don't want to do it like words like pitch or anything like that's going to be crazy. But this is something to keep in mind. And then when you just highlight it and get rid of it, the whole game log comes back. And this is just brilliant. It's a lot of fun. And any one of these is really, really cool. Can be made into a web page. So if we had certain games, and we're a bit late now, but certain games that maybe you want to highlight, or maybe you have, maybe you're running a league of your own, or playing some head-to-head baseball, as Steve and I did a couple days ago, and you were keeping track of that. Maybe, if Steve and I, let's say we were doing a head-to-head game of the week, maybe 1 week on my channel, 1 week on his channel, and we wanted to knock up a website, and we could just put up these game logs, and it's really, really fun reading. It really, really is. Like it a lot, and I really love the fact that it's searchable. So I don't know whether Steve's messed with film very much, but I tend to like it better even than the play-by-play because I like to look at the. I just like to look at its flavor text, and it's so good. It actually is really, really good. And again, Steve will show you on his video how well or how much you can actually customize. play-by-play. Of course, you can customize walk-up music, sounds, everything in this game. The deeper I dive, the more amazing it is. And I did a game earlier today in Out of the Park Baseball. Not knocking it, was great, but I found myself as I was doing the game, it was like, but in Action PC, I would get this information or whatever. But just one more. This is nice. So just again, so we're in the fifth inning. St. Louis is leading Bellingham 15-4, 2 out, bases loaded. So Bouchon now batting, bases loaded, and Corcoran stares in. The 1-0 from Corcoran. Bouchon lines or grounds a single between third and short. Stengel scores. White to second. Wisterzel rounds third. Wisterzel is trying to score. Here comes the throw from Clark. White is heading to third. It's cut off by Jennings to throw to third, and it'll be close. White slides into third, cross with a tag. He's out on a close play. Wisterzel scores from third. 3 runs, 2 hits, no errors. We played 5. St. Louis 15, Bellingham 6. It's just filled with all kinds of stuff here. And again, it'll say like maybe a person's hitting like 126 against Butler if they're playing Butler. So really, really good stat tracking in this, and I really, really like it. So for any Action PC owners, something else for you to get lost in. And you can do this with any game. And lots of folks coming in, saying hi. So there's D. Scott Howard saying hi to everybody. And the Cubs of Children, among many Ken Castro brain children. Absolutely. Does this game have to be the sample? Yeah, right. All right. We got to find something that Bellingham kicks some butt, right? I'm sorry about that, D. Scott. I just picked one up. But back here on these headlines, so Robbie making some bizarre comment. So no, well, not being an asshole like he is, but I scored everybody very, 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 very tough. If that is your question, nobody scores perfectly. There's no such thing as a perfect performance. So unless you're playing baseball and it's a perfect game, but no such thing. So down here, if we look at these highlights, if we go back to August 2nd, late St. Louis rally beats Liverpool 6-5. Click on that. And because film was the last thing that I picked, that's what's going to come up. And you can go through this whole thing from the opening, right? The greeting, the opening announcement, what have you, all the way down. And it is so cool. And so all that stuff that if you're not looking, here we go. So I was talking about this, right? So here's how well it tracks stats. Now, as when I'm calling games, I'm not going to go nuts, and I'm not going to look at that play-by-play and read it to you guys or anything like that. But so Donlin to the plate, hitting 258 in the year with a home run and 19 runs batted in. He's hitting 364 against Liverpool. That's cool, right there. It's nothing great, astounding. Baseball for Windows does it. Diamond Mine does it. But it's cool to know that Action PC is also doing that among all the other crazy in-depth things that it does. So for those of you that don't have the game, and again, I'm not a show for Dave Cook, but he has frequent sales through the year. Maybe wait till this goes on sale, pick it up. It's amazing. Um, I'm just absolutely besotted with this game. Along with Out of the Park Baseball, I think these two complement each other so very well. All right, so enough of that. So any of these games, any of these things here, you can choose when it's a game, and you can go back look at recaps. You can look at miscellaneous, all those nice things there along the bottom. What I'd like to see from Dave in the future, because with talking about all of these things, so like records, right? League records, um, or let's say all-time records for, like, we go to team records here, for instance. We don't have anything generated there yet. Let me find something. Because with these, right, I can, like, so hits one team. So here 20, or we're not going to bring that up because D. Scott will be upset again. Let's do Philadelphia had 21 hits on May 6th against my team, Liverpool. So we'll bring that up. And again, we can go through this. You can pick anything you want, which is really nice. If you don't want to read all this, you can just go to the recap. But there's something about this film that's really, really cool. And you can, whatever's in here, it's going to search. But what I wanted to say was like for all these things that generate reports. So if we go to like say player high, all right. So who has the most hits? Nap Lajoie. Well, all right. So this is generated very very nice to look at, right? But and you can do this with this is how you customize reports. But what I would like to see would be for some of these more sort of arcane reports, right? Let's say, so for hitting streaks, right? We'll let it, it's crunching through the numbers right now, seeing who has the most hitting streaks. What I want to see though is a display like this, because it's going to bring up a text. It's going to bring up like a regular sort of notepad text thing if you're into, if you have Windows. We'll let it crunch for a minute while I say hi to everybody. There's Clee Baseball Fan 879. Clinton Park saying good evening. Good to see you, Tim. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Clinton says he has two teams left, and then he's going to have opening day finished in his Ned McGreevy League, or his version of the Ned McGreevy League. So here we have these. What it would be really nice um, to have these things such that they weren't just regular files, because maybe I'd want to. You can create it. I would just like to see more room for these. And you can do it by customized reports, but I'd sort of like to see them default. Maybe in a later iteration of Action PC Baseball, but still, what can you say? This is just good stuff. So this was just a quick little add-on to what Steve was talking about the other day with reporting, and now I love it. And I know there's going to be a night Ken Castro was going to say, let's just do a stream on, team or on statistics, because Ken says he can look at these 24/7. Todd B in the ballpark. I would like to see Action do a recap like Out of the Park with a paragraph or two about the game. I'd love that. That's one of Out of the Park's strengths, and that recap function in Out of the Park Baseball is editable, which is also cool. And also, Out of the Park does something because of its graphics that Action PC doesn't. The recaps in Out of the Park Baseball, you can actually watch the highlights of the game play out, which is really cool. But again, that's kind of its specialty, those really kind of sexiest graphics. But yeah, I would love to see, I would definitely love to see a sort of, 2, 3 paragraph the way Out of the Park does it. That's so nice, giving you that end of game. MV says, why? What was the score? Okay, so it's talking to D. Scott Howard. Scores are in Discord for what Clinton Parks is doing. So nice, nice, nice. All right, so here's what we have tonight: Bellingham at Cleveland, Arsenal at Philadelphia. I don't see Philadelphia's manager here though, but Cleveland is here. Manchester at St. Louis. The St. Louis manager's here. Butler at Liverpool, but because of the nature of the rules that we have, I can't manage my own team. So, and then Providence at Carolina, and Carolina's not here. So we can choose to, if somebody wants to manage any of the home team managers, or we can just pick one of these games and auto them out. No real marquee games going on. It's not like we have. I don't see that we have anybody. So Bellingham and Cleveland could be decent, but so in other words, Manchester, Cleveland, Providence, and Philadelphia are not playing each other, and those are the teams in the race. Liverpool is also outside, but so Liverpool, Butler, but again, it's we'll just probably auto that one out. So I don't know if anybody wants to pick one or not, or I'll just pick a game at random. But we will go ahead and do Liverpool first. Just auto play the Liverpool game. Next time I do one of these, I just won't be managing. So auto, and Liverpool defeats Butler 6-3. Mickey Welch goes to 17-11. Jack Combs falls to 9-15. Eddie Collins goes 2 for 4 with a home run, his 8th, and a steal. So Liverpool with the victory at 62-57. So Liverpool now 3.5 out. Bellingham and Cleveland, fire it up, says Cousin Ken. All right, and if Todd can't stay in, we will just, yeah, we'll just let the AI do it. So Bellingham and Cleveland it is. Sounds like fun. Yes, Todd B is Cleveland. D. Scott Howard says Bellingham never wins on the broadcast games. Uh-oh. Set these both to human. If you guys feel like doing a hand picked lineup, you can do that. Actually, I got to back out of this a second because I got to see who's supposed to be pitching. So it's Long Tom Hughes against Eparixi. All right. So let's get the pitcher in there first. Or Jim Hughes. I keep calling him Long Tom Hughes. Okay. So I don't know if you want to just go with a lefty lineup. I'll bring it up here for you, D. Scott. There's what it's asking for bringing up as a lefty lineup if you want to go with that. So you have George Sisler leading off, then Miller Huggins, Ed Delahanty, Ed Roush, Casey Stengel, Milligan, Wisterzel, White, and Hughes. And there's World's Worst Gamer, Butler's manager, not here. I would have managed Liverpool. Oh well, I am Liverpool. Butler's hardly here because, and welcome in World's Worst Gamer and Happy New Year, because Christopher Slovak, who's the manager of Butler, warned us he would hardly be here. He works in Pakistan, so he's 14 hours ahead. So, but Liverpool, if you want to take over Liverpool for the last 29 games or 30 games of the season or what have you, again, that offer's open. I've been looking for a manager because the way we structured the rules, I can't manage my own team. And I found that in a game against Providence because I could see what Providence was calling, and so I couldn't really. I would see Providence would be playing corners in. Well, that's going to kill me for bunt or whatever, or they're going to call a pitch out. So I can't manage my own team because I have control here. So um, just doesn't quite work, unfortunately, because I get to see things beforehand. So it works in my favor and against me. D. Scott Howard, can you see your bench for hitters? Absolutely. There's your bench. Have a look while I fire up a stogie. Cobb is sitting this one out. Don't know why, but there we go. Well, because Roush is the better fielder. Roush is rated a 10 at center field. Cobb's an 8. So, Cubs the Bears. Maybe I'm in the minority, but all I care about is a realistic game. Don't really care about player photos, graphics, or generating dozens of arcane statistical reports. Oh, not asking you to. As my cats start to fire up here, I'm not asking you to commit to anything. Just if you're ever in here and you say, "Hey, I want to manage Liverpool," or you want to manage Butler, those are the two teams that would like that. You want to put Cobb in right field, all right, and so you're going to take out Casey Stengel, I'm guessing. So Cobb will go to right field, and he's rated an 8, so that would be good. All right, so Cobb in, Stengel out. Where do you want Cobb in the George Sisler trying to jump in the game twice. Where would you like Cobb in the batting order, D. Scott? We'll get to yours in a second, Todd. I'm going to finish up um, D. Scott's. Cobb lead off. You got it. And I'm guessing you'd want George Sisler not in the cleanup spot. So here's what we have. So Ty Cobb's leading off. And then Sisler, you want batting number 3. That's smart. Okay. Huggins is in the number 2 slot. Ed Roush hitting cleanup. Again, this isn't a home run league. I would probably put Delahanty at cleanup, but that's just me. Hey, there's John DFW. Happy New Year. Delahanty. Okay, he's going to stay at number 5. All right. Yeah, walk-up music. Exactly. It's a secret MV. But something Ken asked for, and I just happen to be writing a piece that fits what Ken's looking for. The rest are good. All right. So let's view opponents. And I believe it's Epirexi is the pitcher for today's game for Cleveland. And you're going against a lefty. So you're looking at Sam Thompson, Cap Anson. This is to Todd. Nap Lajoie, home run Baker, Dummy Hoy, Jimmy Sheckard, Ray Chapman, Moon Gibson, and Epirexi. And I'll show you your bench first. Boom, there you go. I know you've been wanting Gavy Kravitz in there. Do you want to put Kravitz in for somebody else? I don't know. He's not the best fielder, which is probably why he's not getting a lot of playing time. So we'll let Todd have a look at the screen here. You want Bresnahan in? Sure. So Bresnahan in and Gibson out. Okay. $11 at the park at 11:49. That is nice, isn't it? Thanks everybody for coming in. For Ken and I, this is super, super gratifying. We were convinced we would be probably, and occasionally having Clinton in here, we were convinced, though, usually it was just going to be just Ken and I watching. So glad people were at least showing some interest. Todd, where do you want Bresnahan in the order? Right now, he's in the 8th. So you have Thompson, Anson, Lajoie, Baker, Hoy, Sheckard, Chapman, Bresnahan. And you want Cy Seymour in too? All right, so Seymour in, Dummy Hoy out. I can save this lineup if you want to. After we get the batting order set, I can save this as your batting order versus lefties. Yep, we have a Cleveland Spiders team. Yep. Okay, so put Bresnahan 8th, and you want to move. Okay, wait. So you're moving Chapman to 9th. Where are you going to bat the pitcher? We're not doing, because we're not doing a DH league here. So where are you going to put your pitcher? So Bresnahan is in the 8th slot. And you're saying move Chapman to the 9th spot? And then you're going to have your pitcher bat 7th? I'm a little confused. I'll wait. I'm easily confused. We know that. Okay, so you want Bresnahan 7th and Chapman 8th. All right. Bresnahan 7th. So we're just doing a little switcheroo. You happy with the rest of the batting order? If so, I'll save it. And if you'd like this lineup, Todd, I can save it all the way down if you want. If this is what you want to go with. Todd says, let's roll. All right, what I'm going to do is just save it anyhow really quickly. So if you guys want to grab a beverage, you can. All right, so it's saved. Okay, let's get out to League Park, Cleveland, Ohio. Lineups are set. All right, welcome to League Park for today's game between Bellingham and Cleveland. Bellingham has won just 2 of its last 10. Jim Hughes will take the mound for the bare-handed Wolf Chokers. He's made 5 starts in the year, and he's 3-7 with an earned run average of 3.94. This will be his 2nd start against the Spiders, and he's 0-2 with a 0.96 ERA against Cleveland. He'll be opposed by Epirexi for Cleveland. Epirexi, Hall of Famer, of course. He's made 1 start in the year, and he's 0-1 with an ERA of 7.53. So this looks like a spot start for Cleveland. This is his first start against Bellingham. It's 79 degrees of game time, wind speed 2 miles per hour, left to right, and a sunny day. And all right, good. He said Bellingham back to computer. Remember, visiting manager can make substitutions. So pinch runners, pinch hitters, relief pitchers. Home team can actually call plays and make substitutions, and the noise you hear in my background, just my cats playing. All right. Buckner's song, Walk This Way. Surprised they haven't gotten rid of anthems in sports yet with the globalist agenda pushed by our leaders. Says, ignore that, please. Have fun. It's okay, man. You know, I'm not about censorship here, so it's all good. I mean, unless, and you wouldn't be. I mean, if somebody would start coming in here and spouting sort of nationalist, socialist stuff, then you get the heave-ho. But other than that, it's cool to have discussion. Just keep it civil. I'm fine. I'm good with it. All right, the Georgia Peach to lead it off here for Bellingham. Nice day at League Park for some baseball. Cobb in the season hitting .280, 3 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Ed Roush has been getting the start for Bellingham, but Cobb in today. Cobb probably a better stick, certainly a better stick than Ed Roush. Ed Roush the better fielder. Give Cobb some playing time. Eparixi ready to deal. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Ty Cobb, and let's get this game underway. Cobb swings, sends this one to left field. Jimmy Sheckard over toward the line, pulls it down into the glove. 1 up, 1 down. Here is Miller Huggins, probably one of the tiniest people to ever play the game of baseball, other than Eddie Gaedel, of course. Huggins hitting .240 with 22 runs batted in. Remember and try to anticipate, guys. If you want to do something, throw up a big emoji that I can see, or else the computer's just playing out everything. All right? Good. All right. Rixie peers in, has the sign from catcher Roger Bresnahan getting starting duties tonight behind the dish for the Spiders. Rixie with the 1-0 delivery to Huggins. Huggins, base hit into right field. Sam Thompson up with it, gets it back in. So Huggins aboard at first. And on the year, Miller Huggins with 27 steals. And that brings in George Sisler, one of my all-time favorite players. First baseman hitting .256 with 33 runs batted in. Huggins at first, 1 down. Rixie has the sign from Roger Bresnahan, the leg kick and the delivery. Sisler, first pitch swinging, lofted to left. This one has a little bit of distance. Jimmy Sheckler going back and in front of the stands makes the catch. Huggins gets back to first, 2 down. And Ed Roush, so strong outfield. Roush staying in center. Cobb actually replacing Stengel in right. So my mistake there. We had to do like Ernie Harwell here and rustle our papers. Here we go. Who will it be? There we go. That was for Robbie Wartburg. Ed Roush hitting .250 with a home run and 25 runs batted in. Huggins at first, 2 down. Roush waits the Rixie delivery. 1-1 to Roush. Roush sends this to right field, and Cobb makes the putout, and that does it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the first. Bellingham nothing, and Cleveland coming to bat. Sam Thompson to lead it off. Thompson riding an 8-game hitting streak. Wrong picture of Jim Hughes there. I need to find a better one, and I keep forgetting to do that. So my apologies. Ignore that Jim Hughes in your upper left corner. And make sure the children do not see it. Of course, they shouldn't be up this late, should they? Lefty Thompson stands in. .368 average, 3 home runs. 34 runs batted in. We'll see Lajoie third in the inning, who's leading the league in just about everything. Jocko Milligan sets the target for Jim Hughes. Here's the wind and the 1-2 pitch to Thompson. Thompson, kick and a miss. So 1 down for Cap Anson. Anson hitting .251, 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Hughes kicks and fires the 0-1 to Anson. Anson fouls this one back. Anson back in the box. Hughes delivers. Anson lines this one. Miller Huggins. Great diving catch of that liner off the bat of Cap Anson. 2 down for Napoleon Lajoie. He is hitting .350 with 79 runs batted in, and to top it all off, Lajoie riding an 8-game hitting streak. So Lajoie playing on pace. In this baseball history collection, his batting average at 355, and he's at 350. He's really on pace all the way up and down the line. Considering the caliber of pitchers he's facing. So Lajoie, the 2-out delivery from Hughes, the 0-1. Lajoie swings liner down the right field line, and George Sisler catching that out of there. And the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. We go to the top of the second. Scoreless here in Cleveland. Ed Delahanty to lead it off will be followed by Jocko Milligan and then Tex Wisterzil. Delahanty hitting .269 with 6 home runs and 61 runs batted in. So the way this baseball history collection works, I should remind you guys, is it's not taking, for the real stats, it's not taking into account these players, but rather this peak slice that they use to create this, and everything's normalized to a neutral park, neutral era. So, testament to what a great player Lajoie is, that he's on pace, even neutralized, and we actually have this set to 1900. So Lajoie just doing it up big time for Cleveland. Bresnahan sets the target. Rixey delivers the 2-0 to Delahanty, swung on, and Bresnahan gets out to this ball quickly, fields it, and fires it on to Cap Anson for the 2-3 putout. Nice play behind the plate by Roger Bresnahan for 1 down, and you don't want Delahanty to get on base. Here is Jocko Milligan, 271, 2 home runs, 17 runs batted in for the catcher. Tex Wisterzil waits on deck. Southpaw Rixey peers in, has a sign he likes from Roger Bresnahan. Here's the 1-0. Milligan cuts on this one, chopper to short. Chapman ranges to his right, sets and throws on to Anson for the 6-3, 2 down. And here's Tex Wisterzil. Bats righty, a .212 hitter, 36 runs batted in. Rixey has neither struck out nor walked a batter yet. He lets it go. The 0-1 to Wisterzil. Popped behind the plate. Bresnahan off with the mask. And plenty of room here at League Park. And Bresnahan makes the catch. Side retired. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the second. We are scoreless. Due up, home run Baker, Cy Seymour, and Jimmy Sheckard. I see that I need a picture for home run Baker. Baker on the season, 279, 2 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Infield looking bunt. Wisterzil and Sisler in at the corners. Hughes has a strikeout in this game. Kicks and delivers the 3-0 to Baker. Baker lays off this pitch, and Jim Hughes issuing the free pass to home run Baker. Baker with 18 steals in the season. Pretty decent speed, and here is center fielder Cy Seymour. Cy Seymour with 8 runs batted in the season, hitting .268. Hughes winds and fires. There goes Baker. The throw down from Milligan. White's tag in time. Home run Baker caught stealing. 1 down, bases empty. Infield still looking bunt. Hughes delivers the 0-1 to Seymour. Seymour cuts on this one. Weak chopper to Wisterzil at third, but he's going to have to hurry his play. This is going to be close. Seymour getting down the line quickly. Sisler with the stretch. They do just get Cy Seymour for the second out. So a little bit of excitement going on here with the caught stealing. Seymour almost legged that one out. Here's Jimmy Sheckard, acquired from the Chicago Cubs, the left fielder, hitting .213, 22 runs batted in. 2 away here, no score. Hughes into his wind. Sheckard cuts on this one. Little chopper out in front of the plate. Milligan up with it, plenty of time to go to Miller Huggins, covering on the play. Side retired. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. We go to the third, and we are scoreless here in Cleveland, Ohio. As Robbie Wartburg talks about the paper sound effect of baseball for Windows, which is a lot of fun. You listen to that game every once in a while when the opposing when the manager's bringing in Pinch runner, pinch hitter, substitute pitcher. You'll hear Ernie rattling paper, and he'll say, who will it be? Been playing that game for, I don't know, decade and a half maybe, and I'm still hearing things in that play-by-play. I heard something the other day I'd never ever heard before, so just it's crazy. Anyhow, enough of baseball for Windows. Back to this. Bill White here to lead it off. He'll be followed by Jim Hughes back at the top of the order and Ty Cobb. Bill White at 215, 4 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Eparixi, lefty deals now. The 0-2 pitch to Bill White. White, this one expanding the strike zone for Rixey, and Epa picks up his first strikeout. 1 down for pitcher Jim Hughes. Jim Hughes hitting 174. He does have a run batted in. Todd splits and rips, says Clinton Parks. Rixey works now to Hughes. The 0-1, Tom Hughes. Grounder up the third base line. Home run Baker up with it on to Anson. Bang bang play at first to retire Jim Hughes for the second out. Go to the top of the order now, Ty Cobb. We're not seeing Ty Cobb a lot in this league, so it's a treat to do this game to see the Georgia Peach. Flied out back in the first. Miller Huggins waits on deck. Rixey peers in, has the sign from Bresnahan, the leg kick, and the 2-0 delivery to Georgia Peach. Swung on, chopper to second. Lajoie up with it after ranging to his left on to Cap Anson. Easily retiring Ty Cobb and the side. So Bellingham goes quietly, and we go to the bottom of the third. Still scoreless. Cleveland Spiders to send up Roger Bresnahan, Ray Chapman, and Eparixi. Clinton Parks says, okay, cousin, and other 1960s baseball nuts. Yankees versus Baltimore. Bill Short, he also died in 2022. May his memory be eternal. Versus Skinny Brown. Never heard of Skinny Brown. Again, 60s, my weakest decade in baseball. So we need Steve Tate in here to talk about Skinny Brown, just like he did with Howie Shanks. All right, Bresnahan leads off here. Bresnahan hitting 262 in the season, 10 runs batted in. Jim Hughes, a walk and a strikeout. Winds and fires the 0-2 to Bresnahan. Bresnahan chops on this one. Hard ground ball to short. Bill White cannot hold on to this ball. Score at E6. Bresnahan aboard, so error committed by Bellingham. And Bresnahan, 8 steals in the season. I've already created a draft league, Clinton, and I'm also doing some reading on 1960s as well, but certainly great to talk. I turned you on to dead ball, you get me into 1960s baseball. Be a nice even trade. All right, so the E6, and that brings up Ray Chapman. Shortstop hitting just 188, a home run, 35 runs batted in. Somebody said earlier they'd like to pitch Carl Mays. That would be a very, well, at least we'd be able to talk about if Mays was pitching and Chapman was up. Certainly a sad story. Bresnahan, good lead off first. Hughes now works to him. There goes Bresnahan. Milligan throws down. Huggins coming in. The tag. Bresnahan caught stealing. 1 down. That's what I'm going to miss about this league. The nice aggressive base running and people bunting out of position, everything. But still, 29 games to go, 30 games to go. Chapman back in, infield in at the corners. Hughes into his wind, and the 0-1 delivery to Chapman. Chapman, strike 3 called, so Hughes, that nice fastball, painting the black. 2 down, and here's Eparixi. Rixey, he is 0 for 4 in the season as a hitter. Milligan sets up. Tom Hughes toes the rubber, lets it go. The 1-0 to Rixey. Rixey chops this one to second. Huggins taking that one deep in the hole and fires it on to George Sisler to retire Eparixi and the side. Cleveland goes in order, and we go to the top of the 4th, and we are scoreless. Good tight ball game. Only only one hit in the ball game thus far. And as Ken Castro says, Milligan displaying the gun behind the dish in the caught stealing. Miller Huggins to lead it off, followed by George Sisler and Ed Roush for Bellingham here in the fourth inning. Miller Huggins 1 for 1, singled back in the first. Eperixi has one strikeout thus far. The lefty deals the 1-0 to Miller Huggins. Huggins chops this one to second. Lajoie, textbook 4-3 put out to retire Miller Huggins. One down. George Sisler, nothing for one. The first baseman gave it a ride down the left field line last time up. Ed Roush waits on deck. Lefty-lefty matchup here as Rixey delivers to Sisler the 2-1. Sisler cuts on this one. Chopping ball to short. Chapman up with it on to Cap Anson for the second out of the inning. Game moving along at a nice clip here after picking the lineups. Ed Roush, nothing for one. Roush, flight out to deep right back in the first. Delahanty waits on deck. Rixey with a 2-out, 0-1 delivery. Roush cut on this one. Grounder up to first. Anson will wave off Rixey. Take this one 3 unassisted. Side retired. Bellingham goes in order, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. We are in a scoreless tie back at the top of the order now for Cleveland. Sam Thompson, an 8-game hitting streak, struck out back in the first. Milligan with the target for Hughes. Hughes winds and fires the 0-2 pitch to Thompson. Thompson liner. Miller Huggins drew the beat on that and pulled it down 1 away for Cap Anson, who also lined to Miller Huggins back in the first. Jim Hughes rears and fires the 3-0 to Anson. Anson lays off this one outside and low. So Anson gets the walk. Jim Hughes issuing his second free pass. Anson aboard, 10 steals on the season. Napoleon Lajoie now nothing for one. He lined out to first. Lajoie batting from the right. Hughes delivers to the great second baseman. There goes Anson. A throw down by Milligan. Huggins tagged, not in time. Cap Anson picking up his 11th steal of the season. So Cleveland now with a runner in scoring position, 1 down. Lajoie back in the box. The 0-1 to Lajoie. Lajoie swings, chopper to short. White taking that one deep, has it on to Sisler to retire Lajoie. Anson holds second on the play, 2 down. Home run Baker. Walked in the second and was caught stealing by Jocko Milligan. Hughes checks Anson at second. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Baker, liner, and right to Bill White at short. Side retired. So Cleveland strands 1. 4 in the books. We are scoreless. Yeah, so Ken getting a little bit of love there as a Phillies fan, or not love. Thank you guys for the likes and everything. We've got a good crowd in here tonight. Hope you're enjoying the game. And good chat going on. Ed Delahanty will lead it off for Bellingham here in the 5th. Will be followed by Jocko Milligan and Tex Wisterzil. Delahanty grounded to short. Eperixi delivers the horse hide, the 0-2 pitch. Delahanty base hit into left field. That'll be the second base hit for Bellingham in the game. And Delahanty with 25 steals in the season. Jocko Milligan steps up. And Todd B says, great, I changed my lineup. And so far, at least, he's being no-hit. So the Eperixi pitching a 2-hitter. Milligan nothing for one, grounded to short. Milligan gunning him down today, though. Bresnahan has assigned. Rixey with the delivery. There goes Delahanty. Bresnahan's throw down. Lajoie's tag not in time. At Delahanty now with steal number 26. Milligan back in the box. The 0-1 delivery from Rixey. Cut on. This one popped high on the infield. Napoleon Lajoie calls for it and makes the catch. So Napoleon Lajoie and Wilbert Robertson share a distinction that I don't think any other major league team has, and I will put that out there, and without Googling it, and without Clinton Parks answering. So there's something unique to Napoleon Lajoie and Wilbert Robinson. What is that? It has nothing to do with stats. So there, give you that. All right, Wisterzil is nothing for one. Pop to catcher back in the second. The delivery from Rixey to Wisterzil, who does look like he's 19. Wisterzil gives this a ride down the left field line and foul. So good contact in that ball, but went around too early. Wisterzil back in, and yeah, in this era, he looks like a little kid. Ken Castro says it looks like a kid rebuys his gas. He does. I mean, most of these players, right in the off-season, grueling jobs, looked a lot older. I mean, you're looking at guys that were in their 20s, early 30s. I mean, look at Rixey there, but yeah, that looks like a little kid, right? Robbie Wartburg, bottom of the seventh, and Butler's destroying St. Louis so far in the Diamond Mine version of this league, 10-1. World's Worst Gamer just typed it in a search, and it gave me a book to read saying it was the most memorable collapse. Not for me, though. The one that will stick for me is 1987 Blue Jays collapse. D. Scott Howard says, no taunting from the dugout. All right, the 0-2 delivery to Tex Wisterzil. And Wisterzil, big cut and a miss. Epirixi picking up his second whiff of the day. 2 down. Delahanty remains in second. Ken, you're sold. I thought you bought petrol. Well, you got to be careful with that, though, because in the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, many people still call it petrol. They put it in the motoca, or the auto, of course, if you're posh. In Italy, cars, of course, is called La Macchina. They still call it the machine in Italy. Kind of funny. All right, Delahanty in scoring position. Bill White, nothing for one, struck out back in the third. Still not seeing an answer that I've disqualified Clinton Parks from answering about Wilbert Robinson and Nap Lajoie. Rixey now with the delivery to White, the 1-2 pitch. And this one gets away from Bresnahan, pass ball, and Delahanty is going to make third. So 2 out, and Bellingham knocking at the door here in this scoreless game. White back in the box. Rixey works from the stretch in the 2-2 pitch. And Bill White draws the walk. That one high and inside. Rixey has walked his first batter, so 2 strikeouts and a walk for Rixey. Pass ball moving Delahanty to third. White at first. Bill White with 19 steals in the season. As D. Scott Howard says, I'm older than all you punks. Oh my God. All right. It's starting to degenerate already, isn't it? Actually started degenerating with this 1964 Phillies crash, right? All right. Jim Hughes grounded to third his last time up. Cobb waits on deck. Runners at the corners, 2 down. Rixey from the stretch, the 1-0 to Hughes. Hughes cuts on this one, fly ball, center field. Cy Seymour going back on it and makes the catch to retire side. So Bellingham threatens, but they strand 2. They do not score. Bottom of the 5th, and we are still scoreless. Cy Seymour, Jimmy Sheckard, and Roger Bresnahan due up for Cleveland. Cy Seymour, nothing for one. Grounded to third, back in the second. Nope, not league jumpers. This is something a little bit. All right, I'm going to throw another one. It's honorific, very, very honorific. D. Scott Howard firing back says, Ken's so old he bought Ethel. Ooh. Will there be a retort from cousin Ken Castro? As Todd Beach is jumping into the fray saying D. Scott yells at kids to stay off his grass. Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, lads. All right, back to the game now. Used to deliver to Seymour. Here it comes. And Seymour gets the bunt down. And Sisler coming in on it. He's going to throw to Huggins to retire Seymour, who had trouble getting out of the box. So Seymour, a little drag bunt action. One down. Stay out of my grass more like it, says D. Scott Howard. World's worst gamer, Gene Mock, went into a panic and started pitching guys in 2 days rest. What a moron. So I'm still talking about the everybody here talking about their saddest moments of their team crashes. Infield into the corners for Jimmy Sheckard, who was 0 for 1. He bunted out to Jocko Milligan. Hughes with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks in the game. Leg kick and the 0-1 delivery. Sheckard, little chopper out in front of the catcher. Jocko Milligan will let this one roll foul. Sheckard back in the box, and the 0-2 delivery from Hughes. Sheckard swings, chopper to short. Bill White comes in on this ball. Off balance throw to first. Sisler with the long stretch. And Jimmy Sheckard is retired for the second out. Clinton Parks chiming in, says Cousin and D. Scott beat up Abner Doubleday. It's getting brutal here, baseball fans. Getting brutal. Gets any more brutal, we're going to try to find Al Red Sox fan to come in here and call this as a boxing match in the chat. Al, of course, probably I would say, the best as far as calling boxing in the community. Al has no equal, definitely. And good at other sports as well. Roger Bresnahan batting with 2 down. He's nothing for 1. He grounded to short, was safe in an error back in the 3rd. Milligan sets up just a little bit outside of Bresnahan. Hughes with the delivery. And Milligan sets up outside, and Bresnahan gets plunked inside. So hit by pitch. Bresnahan aboard for Cleveland. And that brings up Ray Chapman, who's nothing for 1. Struck out. How ironic, somebody get hit by a pitch and then Ray Chapman comes up. That's just spooky. Hughes checks Bresnahan at first. Todd B says, D. Scott says, Ken and I taught the game to Abner Doubleday. And Todd B says, Ken owns a Gran Torino, I bet. And Ken just says, I'm spitting here, he's dying. Love it. All right, Hughes delivers now to Chapman, the 0-2, and swing and a miss to end the inning. And there's the big banner coming up on the screen for you guys. Hughes with a no-hitter alert. We go to the top of the 6th, and we are scoreless. And Eparixi pitching a 2-hit shutout. Top of the order here for Bellingham and Ty Cobb. Cobb in today's game is flied out and grounded to second. Eparixi has struck out 2 and walked 1. So Ty Cobb hitting 350 against the lefties. Rixey works to him now, the 1-1 pitch. The Georgia Peach, little chopper up the first base line. Anson will let it roll foul. Cobb back in, the 1-2 delivery from Rixey. Cobb swings, a little chopper out in front of the mound, or out in front of the plate, and Cobb is going to leg this out. Bunt base hit for Cobb. His first time on the bases. So Ty Cobb, of course, we know, great speed. Cobb with 28 steals on the season. And that brings up Miller Huggins, who's 1 for 2 in the game. Singled and grounded out. Cobb, good lead off first. Rixey checks the speedy Cobb. Here is the delivery home. Cobb off to the races. Bresnahan throws down. Lajoie with the tag. Not in time. Ty Cobb picking up the steal. Potential go-ahead run for Bellingham in scoring position in Ty Cobb. Huggins back in there, the 1-0 delivery. Huggins chops on this one out in front of the plate. Rixey comes in. He's going to go to third. Baker will apply the tag to Ty Cobb. Great heads-up play. Great heads-up play by Epa Rixey to get the lead runner. So one down, and Miller Huggins at first, and George Sisler hitting 0 for 2. Ed Roush on deck. Could be the play of the game there. Should Cleveland win this? And Rixey deals to Sisler. There goes Huggins. The throw down by Bresnahan. Chapman's tag not in time. Miller Huggins pilfers second. 28th steal of the season for Miller Huggins. See, in this so-called really super modern baseball, steals and caught stealings, man, let's go back to some station-to-station baseball. Loading them up and hitting the grand slam is boring. There, I said it. Sisler back in the box. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Rixey. Sisler swings. Base hit to right. Huggins rounds third. Thompson up with the ball. And Huggins will score the first run. No, he is gunned down. Gunned down. Oh, my goodness gracious. So Sam Thompson with the outfield assist. And the quick tag by Bresnahan. And Huggins not getting his hand in there just in time. Run cut down at the plate. We remain scoreless. So kudos to Sam Thompson in right field on the assist. Ed Roush steps in. He's nothing for 2. George Sisler with 38 steals on the season. Rixey pitching with 2 down. What a play by Thompson. Roush waits. Sisler goes, and that's steal number 39 for George Sisler. Bellingham running on these base paths today, running their arses off, as my dear great-grandma would say. Runner in scoring position. Bellingham would like to do something. They've had runners in scoring positions, but not getting them done, getting them home. Roush now waits for the 1-0 delivery from Rixey. Here it comes. Roush swings, chopper up the middle. Lajoie has it. On to Anson's side, retired. Bellingham strands one, and the big outfield assist by Sam Thompson. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th. We are in a scoreless ball game. Clinton Park says you'll be disappointed with that portion of the 1960s, except for basically Bert Campaneris, Luis Aparicio, Amari Wills, and Tommy Harper. Base stealing was a lost art. I know. The 60s really wasn't that. That really was kind of the advent. I think to the whole load 'em up, right? That will become that Earl Weaver style of baseball, loading them up, go for the grand slam. I do know the 60s is not a running decade, but it's a gap. It's a big gap in my baseball history, so I do want to fill that. Clinton also says, by the way, for you collapse losers, I told, or I hold my beer, my beloveds lost a 14.5 game lead to tie, and then this one infamous game we had Bucky F. Dent. Our Red Sox fan said the other night that he's forgiven Bucky F. Dent. Is that allowed? He said he had read some sort of story or there's something about Bucky Dent. So I never heard of a Red Sox fan doing that, but I think that's pretty big of him. Robbie Wartburg giving us constant updates here from his Diamond Mine version of this league. Butler survives a 9-run onslaught by St. Louis in the 9th, winning in the 9th inning to win 11-10. No one that knows that game puts the Boston Collapse in the same frame as the Phillies. Clinton says only if you change the name to Aaron F. Boone in 2003. And then next they might forgive Bill Buckner. I doubt that will ever happen. Guys, I'm going to just put down the mic here. You're going to hear me go sign for a second. Got to kill the heater in here. It's a little warm. Be right back with you. Thanks, guys. We're having some really, really nice weather in the Commonwealth. So it was just a little chilly earlier. Thought I'd heat up the room, and now it is a veritable sauna. We're going to hit 60 degrees a couple times this week. And then we plunge back down into the 40s, and I'm sure after that we'll get blizzards and all that kind of happy stuff. All right, Epirixie due to lead it off here for Cleveland in the bottom of the 6th. Hughes comes home with it to Rixie, the 1-2 delivery. Rixie, swing and a miss. And Jim Hughes picks up strikeout number 4. And we're back at the top of the order. Sam Thompson with that great outfield assist. 8-game hitting streak for him. He has struck out and lined to second. Digs in from the left-hand side. Milligan with the sign. Jim Hughes with the full count. And Thompson tried to hold up, but that one painted the inside corner. Hughes gets the strikeout, number 5, 2 down. And Cap Anson in there now, 0 for 1, who was lined to second and walked. Hughes quickly delivers the 0-1 to Anson. Anson swings, fly ball, left field. Delahanty going back on, and plenty of room to make the catch. Side retire. We go to the top of the 7th. We are scoreless. We have a 4-hitter and a no-hitter going in this game. Todd B putting up the sign. Hopefully I didn't see it too late. Clinton Park says Foxtrot Oscar KC, and those of you who know the military alphabet knows what Clinton Park's saying. He's trying to keep YouTube off my arse. He says, you took too many pucks in the head when you played for the Montreal Maroons. Oh, okay, you're going to bunt for hit, no worries. Trying to break up that no-hitter. Gotcha. All right, back to game action. Sorry I missed that, Todd. Delahanty 1 for 2, leading it off here for Bellingham. Singled back in the 5th. Good ball game here. Bellingham, just 2 games below 500, 58 and 60. Cleveland Spiders in the thick of the race at 62 and 56. Bresnahan sets the target for Epirixie. The lefty winds and fires. The 1-0 pitch to Delahanty, swung on, chopped to short. Chapman ranging to his left, sets and throws to Anson for the 6-3 putout, retiring at Delahanty. Jocko Milligan's gunned down a couple runners today. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and popped to second. And if somebody would please take care of the garbage that's coming into the chat, I would appreciate that. And thank you, World's Worst Gamer. I do appreciate that. Thanks, thanks, thanks. All right. 1 down. Milligan waits for Rixie's delivery. The 0-2. And cut and a miss. Or no, that one's a strike 3 called. So it looked like Worcesterville started to go around, held up, but strike 3 called. So Epirixie picks up strikeout number 3 in the game. 2 down for the kid, Tex Worcesterville. Worcesterville 0 for 2, popped out and struck out against Epirixie. Rixie toes the rubber. Here's the 0-1 to Worcesterville. Worcesterville chopping the ball to Lajoie. Lajoie easily fields it and tosses on to Cap Anson for the 3rd out. Bellingham goes in order. Middle of the 7th, and we are scoreless. 12:33 a.m. on the East Coast. Oh, man. Todd B says, woo. Ken barely had time to click that link, and Ken says missed it. So, yeah, there we go. So Robbie's future wives coming in again, trying to ply their wares to demonstrate to the young Mr. Wartburg that indeed heaven awaits on earth. All right, Napoleon Lajoie to lead off, the number 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up for Cleveland here in the bottom of the 7th. Baker waits on deck, and then Cy Seymour. Lajoie, nothing for 2. He is lined to first, grounded to short. Hughes with 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. The line thus far for Bellingham, 0, 4, and 1. And the Spiders, 0, 0, and 0. So only 1 error in this game so far. That's something. Hughes delivers now the 2-0 to Lajoie. Lajoie sends this one, long fly ball to right field. Cobb going back on it and makes the catch, 1 down. Infield now looking bunt from home run Baker, who's nothing for 1. He walked line to short. Ken Castro talking about one of his great Christmas gifts, saying that he does not need it as he has a premium membership for a certain website. All right, Wisterzo in the 3rd, Sisler in at first. Hughes delivers the 1-2, and Baker swing and a miss. So Hughes picking up strikeout number 6, 2 down for Cy Seymour. Cy Seymour has grounded out to 3rd and bunted out. Hughes winds and fires the 1-0 to Seymour. Seymour, first base hit, and there goes the no-hitter in the bottom of the 7th. Cy Seymour breaking up with a clean single to left. So Hughes now working on a 1-hit shutout. Only 1 steal on the season for Cy Seymour. And that brings in Jimmy Sheckard, who is nothing for 2. Clinton Parks talking about one of the cereal grains, of course, corn. Talking about corn. All right. So it doesn't count. And Ken says no, wanting to know why that doesn't count. All right. So Sheckard batting from the left-hand side. Hughes delivers. No-hitter broken up. The 0-2. Sheckard liner right to Bill White at short. So Cleveland breaks up the no-hitter, but they strand that runner. And we go to the top of the 8th. We are still scoreless here in Cleveland now. And Bill White, Jim Hughes, and Ty Cobb due up for the Bellingham bare-handed wolf chokers. And now that I'm reading what's going on in the chat, it makes me think of something very different for a bare-handed wolf choker. My goodness gracious. Robbie Wartburg says, for me, being with a human female, yes. For a bot, no. Good on you, Robbie. All right. Epirixie, 3 strikeouts and a walk in the contest. Rixie winds and fires the 1-0 pitch to White. White swings, base hit, left field. Jimmy Sheckard up with it. White making the wide turn at first and holds. Bill White with 19 steals in the season, so a little above pace for this baseball history collection. And here's Jim Hughes. Jim Hughes, nothing for 2. No hitter broken up now. Cobb waits on deck. Rixie checks White at first as D. Scott Howard, I'm guessing, is asking for a substitute here since he can't do a play call. Let's see. This group is yours, cousin. Too late to turn back now. I know, and I wouldn't. I really, really wouldn't. Robbie, it'll cost you your soul. Just saying. Robbie Ward, while we wait for D. Scott Howard to make a managerial move here. Robbie asking, the only premium subscription I want is a lifetime one of being the husband for a good girl. How much will that cost me? It will cost you your soul, my friend. Good girl or not, it will cost you your soul. Just telling you. Just saying. Your pinch hitters, let's check out Bellingham. I just have to do one quick thing here. Set this to human so that I can actually bring up your roster. Well, we can do it this way too. But to make that change, I had to do it. Okay, so there you go. If you can't see that, I can bring up the roster. And if it's fuzzy for you, let me know. I can read them off for you. Well, now there you go. World's Worst Gamer offering some wonderful theological advice here. He says to Robbie, go be a Mennonite or Amish and it will happen for you. Sage advice from World's Worst Gamer here at League Park here in Cleveland. All right, so Harry Stovey is going to come in to pinch hit. So Jim Hughes' day is done. Two for me, cousin. Asking the number of marriages in the group. Yep, I went down the green mile twice. So Harry Stovey, as a pinch hitter, is batting 1,000. As far as just hitting in the season, he's 274, 2 home runs, 26 runs batted in. White on at first, as Todd is channeling his inner Al Yankovic, living in Amish paradise. John DFW says only one. Clinton called me an amateur, so I know Clinton is over 2. Clinton's been married more than twice because he called me an amateur. If I do this the 3rd time, and that could be, it will be the last, dude. This is it, if that happens. All right. World's Worst Gamer says, I consider myself married twice, but only legally once. So, Cousin Ken says, hold on, let me get my scratch pad. John, only one. Okay. Good for John DFW there. John holds the... John, who is our sort of commissioner of this league, he gets the... He actually, because Robbie, you've never been married, so we can't actually say you're actually virtuous yet. John, the least lecherous in our group, the most virtuous. So there you go. None yet, but there's some Asian girls after D. Scott. Clinton's at 3. Robbie, are you really Robbie, look it up. Really. I'll just give you a quick. So the Mennonites are part of the German Anabaptist movement. Steve Tate coming in. Steve Tate walking in saying, what the hell are they talking about, the Anabaptists? All right, started by a former Catholic priest, Menno Simons. The Amish are a sect of the Mennonites, but go on, look them up. They're pacifists. So there you go. John says, not that it's been easy, but you're still there. G. Scott Howard says, run, Steve. Steve, earlier I showed them about the film thing in Action PC Baseball, which I fell in love with. Love it, love it, love it. So there you go, Robbie. That's a quick, but you should really read about the Mennonites. Interesting, the whole Anabaptist movement. So it deals with a little bit of ecclesiology, theology there. Part of the over 30,000 Protestant denominations in the world. So White on first, nobody out. Rixey to deal. Bill White back ahead of the tag. Rixey fires in now. And there goes White. The throw down from Bresnahan. Lajoie's tag. And Bill White gets the steal, and that's his 20th of the season. Clinton Parks, check underneath their skirts. D. Scott, they don't think anything about it over there. Where the puritanical religions over here go nuts. Yeah, we got a lot. We have a lot here. And we'll just leave it at that. Runner in scoring position for Bellingham. Nobody out. Remember, Bellingham did have a chance, but Sam Thompson with that brilliant outfield assist gunning down Miller Huggins. And then Epirixi with that great play to get Cobb at third. So Bellingham's had more chances to score, but each team playing tough today. Rixey now deals to Stovey. Once again, Stovey in the box. The 1-0 pitch. Stovey swings, chopper up the first base line. Anson has it, will wave off Rixey for the 3 unassisted putout, and Bill White will make it to third. So Bellingham knocking at the door here in the top of the 8th with a potential go-ahead, and the way this game's been going, potential winning run. Back at the top of the order now, and Tyrus Raymond Cobb due up. Steve Tate says, "Oh, this dead ball inspired me to do photo packs for dead ball Pirates and Tigers." Oh man, I gotta do it, because then we'll do the 1909 World Series on here. That still has to be finished in out of the park, but damn. A Steve Tate photo pack for the 1909 World Series. We'll just move that puppy over onto Action PC. All right, so Cobb is 1 for 3 in the game. Bunt single back in the 6th. Epirixi pitching with 1 down from the stretch, and Todd putting up the big mauve hand, or pink, or whatever that is. So Amish come from the Mennonites, Robbie. Infield in. All right. Infield in, looking to cut off the run. So Bill White at third, and Cobb waits for Rexy's delivery. The 2-0. Cobb swings. This one chopped the infield, and Chapman has it over to Anson to retire Cobb for the 2nd out, and Bill White holds station. So 2 down. Good call there by Cleveland. Sexy stuff here by Steve Tate. It's the proctologist glove. Got you there, Ken. Steve Tate says, yes, have the photos done for the Pirates, 1901 to 1905, and 1905 to 1909. Should have the 1907 to 1911 Tigers complete by the end of tomorrow. Well, 1909 World Series could be coming over from out of the park. What I might do in out of the park is finish that and then compare the results. All right. 2 down. White at third. Miller Huggins 1 for 3. Singled way back in the 1st. Rixey into his motion. The 0-1. Huggins sends this one to center field. Cy Seymour going back and short of the wall makes the catch. So Bob Groom looks like he's coming in to pitch for Bellingham. Groom's numbers in this replay: 4.0, or yeah, a 4.11 earned run average. He's 8-10 in the season with 1 save. He has walked 53 and struck out 63. Opponents hitting .252 against him. Roger Bresnahan going 0 for 1 in the contest as we go to the bottom of the 8th. We are still scoreless. He was plunked by a pitch, or by Jim Hughes back in the 5th. Hughes had a no-hitter going into the 7th. Groom delivers the 0-2 to Bresnahan. Bresnahan, hard hit grounder up to first. Sisler waving off Groom to retire Bresnahan for the 1st out. Settle in, guys. Anything can happen. Infield into the corners for Ray Chapman, who was 0 for 2 in the game. He has struck out twice, and those were against Jim Hughes, who had the start. Groom works home now. Infield into the corners again. Chapman base hit into left. Delahanty and Roush converging. Delahanty gets it back in, so infield still at the corners. Chapman at first as the big glove goes up. Yes, Mennonites are also very frugal. Indeed they are. But they do have electricity, drive cars, have phones. A good friend of mine, a bass player in a band I was in, was raised Mennonite. He's now, I don't know what he is now, but all right, Todd, looking. All right, so you're going to pinch hit for Eparixi. All right, let's bring it up, and there's your bench. Good people, the Mennonites, though. Yep. Yep, as John already said earlier, they can use cars, electricity, and phones. I don't believe that Mennonites practice shunning either. I know the old order Amish still do. I don't know if the newer order Amish. You can't see it at all, Todd. That's all right. I'll tell you who you have. And too bad this isn't Action PC 2023 because we could do that little analysis. You got Dummy Hoy, John Ward, Fred Tenney, George Gibson, Jack Berry, Ed Rulbach. Well, Rulbach, Joss are pitchers. I don't think you want to bring them in. You have your buddy Gabby Kravitz. Robbie, I don't think you want to just go be a Mennonite just because you're looking for a wife, dude. Highest right-handed average hitter. All right, I can do that for you. And Steve Tate's saying, but really, you could put it in Action PC 2023, and he would be right. So that's going to be Fred Tenney. So Fred Tenney it will be. Come on, Fred. Fred doesn't want to come in. There he goes. All right, so Rixie's day is done. Fred Tenney is a pinch hitter, 333 in the season, and his regular line, a 308 average, 27 runs batted in. Chapman at first. Ray Chapman has 14 steals in the season. Wonder if Cleveland will try to call for anything here. Tenney's an excellent bunter, average hit and run. Robbie, there's women everywhere. I mean, I'm Byzantine Catholic, Eastern Orthodox. We got them there. And in my faith, marriages are supposed to be forever. I'm an example. My first marriage actually wasn't a Christian marriage, but my second one I was married in the Eastern Orthodox Church. And so fair warning, Robbie, as Todd puts up he's going to try to steal. All right. That Robbie, I don't think you ever convert though to Eastern Christianity, but if you do, just know this, that you can be both simultaneously divorced and married at the same time, which gave my second wife and I no end of glee after we sort of repaired things. So the church doesn't recognize state divorces. So we were divorced by the state of Ohio, but we were still married by the Orthodox Church until the Archbishop issued an ecclesiastical divorce. Unlike the Western Catholics, we do not do annulments. So we were divorced and married at the same time. So that's a little fun fact if you get an Eastern Orthodox girl, Robbie. All right. So Broom has a glance over at Chapman, who has a pretty good lead off of first. Sisler waiting for a throw over. Broom ready to come home with it. And there goes Chapman off to the races. Milligan throws down. White's tag, not in time. Ray Chapman takes second base. 15th steal of the season. Tenney back in the box. Here is the 0-1 delivery. The season file has no idea version what you're using. No, I know that. I'm just really, really paranoid, Steve. That's why I'm just leaving our Ned McGreevy league in 2021. Just yeah. That's why we Orthodox don't like it. We don't like annulments. That's one of the things we say. Look, what are you guys doing? This annulment business. Yep. We don't do them. In fact, you have to go through, just quickly, oh my God, I don't want to go off on this. So in the Orthodox churches, and I don't care if it's Russian, Greek, whatever, we're all the same, kind of, sort of. We are. You actually have to work with your priest, and then if the priest decides, and again, our priest can be married, so if he decides that there's no hope for the marriage, then he goes to the bishop with his report, or the archbishop if you're living in a large city, and then the archbishop will issue an ecclesiastical divorce. If you get married a second time, it's more penitential. What the Orthodox Church does is you're allowed to be married 3 times in the church. After your 3rd time, they say no more marriages in the church. You are supposed to stay celibate then the rest of your life. Since I only have 1 in the Orthodox Church, I'm still good for 2 more, because they didn't recognize my first marriage because it was wicked, recognized by the Commonwealth but not by the church. So I'm still kind of golden in the Orthodox Church's eyes, but I'm thinking of becoming Byzantine Catholic, so I don't know how that's going to work. Anyhow, off of religion now, the 0-1 delivery to Tenney. Tenney swings, base hit into right field, Cobb up with the Chapman, rounds, and he will score, and Fred Tenney comes on with the RBI double, and that is a big run for Cleveland. It is 1-0. Yep, had a wicked marriage. It was a hand fasting, actually. Yeah, well, so Robbie, give you one more thing. What survives in Eastern Christianity, or what is Byzantine Catholic Eastern Orthodox, is, well, basically the churches that gave you the Bible, except 73 books, not 66. But yep. So, yeah, I think just for fun, because I've studied Protestantism, I think it's profitable for Protestants to at least look at the ancient expressions of Christianity, so Orthodoxy, Catholicism, Coptics, Armenians. Good stuff. I'm a geek about like faith, like belief systems. I'm getting in, studying Buddhism now, Nietzsche and Buddhism. Studied some Zen. It's pretty cool. Hinduism is very cool faith. The Jains, which are a sect of the Hindus. Faith, belief systems just fascinate me to no end. Sam Thompson, now his 8-game hitting streak on the line. Thompson, 0 for 3, has struck out twice. Line to second. Groom checks Tenney at second. Delivers to Thompson, the 3-1 delivery. Thompson puts this one on the infield. Bill White calling for it. And brings down Canaccord. 2 away. Tenney remains in second. Robbie, here's one for you from D. Scott Howard. Got his motto from W.C. Fields. Women are like elephants to me. I like to look at them, but I wouldn't want to own one. Gotta love it. W.C. Fields, who actually hated kids, I read. He actually hated kids. So that whole thing, and the kids were like, they get these kids away from me. That movie was playing poker and all that. W.C. Fields actually hated kids, and they just worked it into the movie. So there we go. More useless information from me. So it makes me the worst broadcaster here. Anything but baseball, right? Groom delivers to Anson. Anson chops on this one. Popped on the infield. Bill White calling for it. And this time he already has corn, so this is going to be a can of peas. We go to the top of the 9th. It's 1-0 Cleveland. So Cleveland was no hit through the 7th and then picks up a run in the bottom of the 8th. And Bellingham will send up the number 3, 4, 5 hitters. George Sisler, Ed Roush, and Delahanty. Cleveland does need a pitcher, however. Clinton Park said W.C. Fields actually got one of the kids drunk in the set. That's funny. Steve Tate says if it flies, floats, or you know what, it's cheaper to rent. Nice. Learned that from a friend's dad when I was much younger. Robbie, you're getting invaluable information. Todd, let's look at your bench because I know you can't see the screen very well. You have all right-handers, left, so not sure what you're looking for. Let me know. Run, Robbie. You can have anybody relieve in this league if you want. So his expected pitch count, I mean, he would be fine if you want to bring in Mordecai Brown, sure. Back in those days, starting pitchers, there was no such thing as a relief pitcher. 3-finger Brown. I mean, not really. All right. And Fred Tenney is done. So here we go, 3-finger Brown. And in our league, gentlemen, a league of our own, he has a 1.95 earned run average. He's 16 and 11 with 1 save. 231 innings pitched. He has walked 49, struck out 131 with a whip of 1.046. Opponents hitting 225 against the great three-finger Brown. Sisler to lead it off here. Sisler is 1 for 3 against Cleveland. Singled back in the 6th, and that's when Huggins was nailed at home. Great outfield assist by Sam Thompson. Brown into his motion. The 0-1 delivered to Sisler. Sisler chopper to short. Chapman up with it. On to Cap Jansen for the 6-3 put out, 1 down. Steve Tate, we have to do us a head-to-head game again sometime. People loved it. We'll do it on your channel if we can. I think that would be fun. Ed Roush now nothing for 3s in the cleanup spot for Bellingham. Barehanded wolf chokers. He's grounded out twice and flied out. Ed Delahanty waits on deck. Brown now works the 2-2 and fly ball center field. Cy Seymour draws a beat on it and brings it down. 2 down, and it's up to Ed Delahanty to try to tie it here in the 9th for Bellingham. The left fielder is 1 for 3, singled back in the 5th. Jocko Milligan on deck. Brown sets and delivers the 3-1 to Delahanty. Delahanty lays off. Brown issues the walk. Delahanty with 26 steals in the season, potential tying run now aboard for Bellingham here in the top of the 9th. And that brings up Jocko Milligan. Milligan is nothing for 3 on the day. He is grounded out, popped out, and struck out. The kid, Wisterzill, waits on deck. Brown with a check of Delahanty at first. Brown now throws over. Delahanty dives in under the Ensign tag. That was close. Brown peers in, now has the sign from Roger Bresnahan. The wind in the 1-1 to Milligan. Milligan base hit into left. Delahanty rounds second as Jimmy Sheckard is up with the ball. The throw into home run Baker. Runners at the corners, 2 down. It's getting a little itchy here now for Cleveland as this kid Tex Wisterzill steps in. Wisterzill nothing for 3 in the game. He's popped a catcher, struck out, grounded to second. D. Scott Howard putting up his version of an emoji, and that would be a pineapple. And I am guessing that we are going to. Oh yeah, that is a great St. Louis Browns documentary. Guys, check it out. I think we have a pinch hitter coming up, so I'll bring up that screen for D. Scott Howard here in 1 second. There you go, D. Scott. Yeah, that's a great one. That is worth quite a few watch-throughs, guys. Really good stuff. St. Louis Browns. So, D. Scott, you have, as far as position players on your bench, Casey Stengel, Dutch Zwilling, and Doc Bouchon. All right, Dutch Zwilling, it shall be. All right, Dutch Zwilling is a pinch hitter, 259, 2 runs batted in. And his line is a hitter, 259, 2 runs batted in. So Zwilling only seeing action as a pinch hitter, and he's at 27 at bats. Todd B putting up the glove, and while he does that, let me set the options back. Bellingham back to computer AI as Todd can make plays here. Pitch aggressive. All right, you got it. So lefty Dutch Zwilling in there against three-finger Brown on in relief for Eparixi. Brown looking for the win, 2 down, runners at the corners. Brown going after Zwilling. Here is the wind and the 1-0 pitch to Zwilling. Zwilling swings, base hit to left field, RBI, and Bellingham ties it here in the 9th. So with the Action PC game rules, if you pitch aggressively, you increase the chances for a strikeout, but you also greatly increase the chances for a hit. Steve and I were talking about the pitch aggressively, or he was actually the pitch aggressively, pitch around, and this was one of those scenarios. Ken Castro says, I don't believe it. Wow. So the winning, or the go-ahead run now at third base for Bellingham. D. Scott Howard just wants to hit away with Bill White. Todd, you want to do anything here before I hit it? This game being on the line, it's time to go to pitch by pitch mode. Steve says, good night everyone, maybe a little APA tomorrow. Yeah, some other type of baseball. Hint, hint, Beatles, yep. Tomorrow, yeah, I'll be doing an Ernie Harwell game tomorrow, those all-time great teams. So, yep, we'll definitely do a baseball for Windows stream tomorrow. Maybe a doubleheader with Ernie, why not? Sleep well, my friend, and Ernie will be on tomorrow in the daytime. All right. So D. Scott Howard wanting to hit away. So is Big of the computer going to handle that? Bresnahan with the target. Brown from the stretch. First pitch swinging. Bill White. That went in there. Ball one. That went up just a little high. Brown peers in, has the sign. Here's the 0-1 to Bill White. White pops this one behind the plate. Bresnahan throws off his mask. Will he have enough room here at League Park? Doesn't look like it. This one will make the seats. So White back in there. Count 1-1 on him. Brown delivers again from the stretch. And White lays off this one. This one low and inside. Ball two. Brown ready now, pitching from the stretch, and the 2-1 to Bill White. White swings, this one fouled on the left-hand side. Count even now. So Brown's been alternating. Ball, foul, ball, foul. So does that mean we're going to get a full count here in this pitch? We shall see. From the stretch, the 2-2. And that went in there. So full count on Bill White. 2 down. Runners will be off on the next pitch. So we'll see what happens here. The payoff pitch to Bill White. And it's a walk. Brown has walked him loaded. And that brings up Bob Groom. Visiting manager can make pinch hitting decisions. And there it is. So Bob Groom's day is about to be done. Casey Stengel, the old professor who was a young professor at this time, will come in to pinch hit. So Bob Groom's day is done. We'll look at his line at the end. Stengel was a pinch hitter, nothing. And his line on the year 245, a home run and 40 runs batted in. We're about 2 weeks from our September call-ups, guys, so start making your wish list for September call-ups. And did I switch this back? I did. All right. Stengel waits now. No place to put him. Brown from the stretch. 3-2 pitch. And Stengel draws the walk, and it is now 2-1 Bellingham here in the top of the ninth. And Ty Cobb, 1 for 4. This one a tough one for Cleveland. Not out of it yet, though. They just got to get past Ty Cobb. Brown peers in, has the sign. Bresnahan from the stretch. The 1-1 to Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb swings, base hit, extra bases. Dutch Zwilling scores. Bill White will score. Stengel rounds third. He will score. And I think this one's all over but the crying baseball fans. Bellingham plating 5 in the 9th after scoring nothing. In the first 8 innings of this game, it's now 5-1. The wheels come off. Todd B putting up the glove, and Three-Finger Brown going to get the hook here. You have Addy Joss, Ed Rollback, John Montgomery Ward, and Jim Bagby left. Whoosh. Well, at least Steve, you'll be able to get to bed now. MV says it ain't over till the fat lady sings, gents. True that. But in this era of baseball, I don't know, man. We did have a game though that somebody came back for a pretty big deficit, so it could happen, but I don't know. All right, we'll wait for Todd B. So once again, Todd, you have all righties: Addy Joss, Ed Rollback, John Montgomery Ward, and Jim Bagby. So not sure what you're looking for. Let me know what you want as far as what we have here. So Miller Huggins is up. He's a switch hitter, so not really tuning. And since you only have right-handers, it doesn't really matter. The lowest whip is Addy Joss, who also has the lowest ERA. Ed Rulbach, okay. I know, Action PC 2023. Remember, when we did this league, that wasn't out yet. So, Three-Finger Brown done. So here's Ed Rulbach now, trying to just give Cleveland a chance. Huggins is 1 for 4. Rulbach winds, kicks, and fires. The 1-1 to Huggins. Huggins, chopper back to second. Lajoie making a nice play on this ball. The 4-3 put out to retire Huggins, but serious damage done here. 5 runs, 3 hits, no errors. Dutch Leonard will be coming on to pitch for Bellingham here in the bottom of the 9th. Dutch Leonard, 2.4 run average. He is 13 and 10 with no saves, 241 in 30 innings pitched, 47 walks, 131 strikeouts, a whip of 1.003, and opponents hitting 219 against Dutch Leonard. He will face Napoleon Lajoie, Home Run Baker, and Cy Seymour, and D. Scott Howard up there with a different type of fruit. Looks like a mango this time. So from pineapples to mango. See what changes he's going to make here. Not sure what you want to do yet, so I don't know what I'm gonna bring up. Because you can make substitutions, but I guess maybe you're not liking Dutch Leonard there. I don't know. Who's on third? Doc Bouchon. And who do you have for third baseman? The only thing you have to do is switch Bill White to third. So make a note for yourself in those September call-ups, I guess, because you have 2 players rated at third, Bouchon and White. Let's see what else we have. Yep, that's all you got. Any changes, D. Scott? People hanging in, watching the end of this one. Nice. Pinch hit Kate Smith. Okay, no change? All right. All right, back to action here. And on the East Coast, we're the second day of 2023, so Happy New Year's anyhow, guys. Hope it's a great one. So Napoleon Lajoie, who's been lighting up the league, has saw his batting average drop a couple points. In this game, he's nothing for 3. Dutch Leonard sets and delivers the 2-0 to Lajoie. Lajoie lines this one down to third. Doc Bouchon at third makes the catch on that liner. One away for Frank Home Run Baker. The candlestick maker, as Chris Delaware says. Baker has walked line to short and struck out. Lefty-lefty matchup. Dutch Leonard peers in, has the sign from Jocko Milligan. Here's Leonard's 3-0. Baker lays off. Baker aboard, and he has 18 steals in the season. Liverpool says Robbie walks it off in the Diamond Mine League at the bottom of the ninth to beat Carolina 5-4. Go Liverpool Fabs. They fancy it, Jen Bosie. So Baker aboard. Cy Seymour is 1 for 3. Singled back in the 7th. Dutch Leonard peers in, has the sign, looking for the double play ball to end this game right here. Leonard works the 1-1 to Seymour. Seymour liner, Miller Huggins had him, throws to first, and home run Baker caught napping off first, doesn't get back in time, and it does end with a double play. Bellingham takes this one from Cleveland 5-1. Oh, that's a painful loss. Doesn't hurt Cleveland in terms of being in any danger of being out of this race, but Bellingham improves to 59 and 60, so just one game below 500. And Cleveland falls to 62 and 57. Bellingham 5 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Cleveland 1 run, 3 hits, no error. So D. Scott, you said earlier that Bellingham never wins on the broadcast games. Well, you did tonight. And a tough loss for the Cleveland Spiders. Bill White for Bellingham goes 1 for 2 today with a steal and 2 walks. Let's look at pitching. Oof, what a wicked game this was. All right, so Hughes for Bellingham got the start. He went 7 innings, gave up 1 hit, walked 2, struck out 6, and ERA now down to 3.54. Groom gets the win. He worked 1 inning of relief, so he improves to 9 and 10, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Dutch Leonard came in, worked an inning in relief, and walked 1. Epirixi with the start went 8 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs. So Epirixi essentially goes out with a no-hitter, walked 1, struck out 3. ERA of 4.84, so kind of high for Epa. Three Finger Brown gets the loss. He goes to 16 and 12, and he also gets the blown save, his first. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 5 runs, all earned. ERA of 2.14 or 2.13. Ed Rulbach works 1/3 of an inning, and ERA of 3.04. Let's look at our miscellaneous. So lots of stolen bases today by Bellingham. Let me see. Ed Delahanty, Ty Cobb, Miller Huggins, George Sisler, Bill White. Cleveland with 2 steals, Cap Anson and Ray Chapman. Baker caught stealing, as was Roger Bresnahan for Cleveland. Ty Cobb with 3 runs batted in the game. Stengel and Zwilling each contributed in the RBI train. Fred Tenney with an RBI for Cleveland. Roger Bresnahan was plunked by Jim Hughes. Bresnahan with the 7th pass ball. Miller Huggins making a great play. Also that outfield assist by Sam Thompson. That's his 8th. Bellingham stranded 6, Cleveland 4. Bellingham turned the double play, which you just saw. The game-winning RBI, Casey Stengel, and the MVP, Jim Hughes. So that's pretty much it. And again, remember, guys, so the film is not available until the game's over. But once it is, you can use the search box to do all kinds of fun things. Interesting, though, the play-by-play is available. We don't need to go through that again. All right, we're going to auto out the rest of this day as it is late, and I don't want everybody turning into pumpkins. So we're going to let this refresh, and then we'll look at our standings after we autoplay, so that way we won't have to go through them twice. And here we go. So first up, Providence and Carolina. Providence is 62 and 56. Carolina at 67 and 61. Carolina edges Providence 2-1. Cy Young with the win. He goes to 14 and 13. Charlie Buffington tagged with the loss. He went 8 and 8. Next up, Arsenal and Philadelphia. Philadelphia at 62 and 56. Arsenal trying to play spoiler, 57 and 61. And Arsenal does more than spoil. They clobber Philadelphia 10-3. This one went 11 innings. We're going to look at this one really, really quickly to see what happened. Why did this go 11 innings with a 10-3 score? Ray Kramer gets the win, so recently acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He goes to 2-2. Ed Walsh takes the loss. 18 and 11 is his record now. Irish Musil went 2 for 3 with a home run. 2 runs batted in. We're going to look at this box score really, really quickly. What in the bejesus happened in this game? So there, look at that line score. Arsenal with 7 runs in the 11th inning. So this game was tied 3-3 going into the 11th. And Arsenal, let's look at this. We could just look at the film really quickly, but I think we'll just look at the let's look at the game recap. So in the 11th, Arsenal sent 11 batters to the plate, scoring 7 runs on 6 hits and 2 walks. So, wow. So nice job there, Arsenal. 10-3. Philadelphia just got geboozled there. I just made that word up. Irish Musil was 2 for 3 with a home run in that game. 2 runs batted in. Hannes Wagner 2 for 5 with a double. Philadelphia in the losing cause. Van Halteren 2 for 4. Chief Myers 2 for 3 with a stolen base. Sox Siebold 1 for 1. Solo shot for him. All right. And one more game. Manchester and St. Louis. St. Louis trying to play spoiler here. Manchester at 65 and 53. 3 games in front going into this game. St. Louis at 46 and 72. And I have no idea what day we were on. There we go. St. Louis edges Manchester 2-1. This one went 15 innings. Hooks Wiltsey gets the win. He goes to 6-1. Herb Higginbotham gets the loss. He goes to 4-3. And that's just your kind of normal extra inning game, so we're not going to worry about the recap on that. Let everything refresh, and we'll look at our standings. Yeah, but how many games are you in Diamond Mine, Robbie, at this point? You just started that a few weeks ago, right? Yeah, you're 4 games in. You'll be fine. Good game for sure. It was. It was definitely a good game. Glad you had fun, Todd B. Todd B taking it with grace and a plum, and apparently a mango and a pineapple to boot. Let's just look at Mike Donlin here. There we go. All right, we'll do that. Take that away, and hopefully things will update here in a second. Action PC. Because I don't want to go through these twice. I really, really, really don't want to go through these twice. Come on. Sometimes this game's a little slow in updating, and I don't know why. Robbie's 0-3. When was the last Manchester was out of first? Sometime back in June. Did we play everything out? We did play everything out. Why? Why are we seeing half games? These should all be even numbers now. Let's look at. There's my team. I never get to see them, but there they are. Tell you what, I'm going to exit this and bring it back up because it's taking a hell of a long time to update. And it just did. Pardon my... No, screw you guys. I love my icons. They're like my children. I love that it brings up not only the ballparks, but just random pictures when you have them installed. I think that's so cool. All right. We still have 7 people hanging in here. Wow. So we do, looks like we have a little, I think we have some movement here. Let's see. We have a 4-way tie for second place. So Manchester still 3 games in front at 65 and 54. And then, okay, thank you, Action PC, for that. All right. A 4-way tie for second place, identical records of 62 and 57. Philadelphia, Providence, Liverpool, and Cleveland. 4-way tie for second. Third place, 5 games back, Butler at 60 and 59. Bellingham in fourth place, 59 and 60 at 6 games back. Carolina and Arsenal both 7 games back at 58 and 61. And St. Louis at 47 and 72, 18 games back. So 14 games from elimination for St. Louis. Um, but we have a tight race here. We may have to have a mini playoff thing. Don't know how it's going to work. Upcoming games, same suspects. So that will be for the next time that we meet. We'll pick a game and play it. Um, what I'm waiting for, here we go. So after tomorrow's slate of games, so Wednesday, when we do the Ned McGreevy League, we've got Manchester and Cleveland. What else do we have? Providence at Bellingham, pretty good game, yeah. Carolina, Philadelphia, Carolina, not out of it yet. Nobody, well, St. Louis, I think, is pretty much out of it now, but can play spoiler. Um, so we do have one. So Wednesday is going to be Manchester at Cleveland. That's going to be a good game. Um, Feaster versus Bagby. This is fun stuff. Beatles and Ken, thank you so much, D. Scott. It means so much to both of us. Robbie Wartburg says he's a winner status pro. MV has a question mark. How much losing streak Manchester? We seem cursed. Well, we can look. We can definitely look at that at reports. Players, teams. Let's do league. Um, where are we going to find this? Or is it going to be under teams? It's going to be team reports. I know it's in here somewhere. There's just so many of these. Give me a minute. So MV, for you, it's morning, so like early morning, up in time for doing whatever. Don't know if you're off today for New Year's holiday. There's a lot of companies do that abroad and here. For everybody else, thank you. And I see 10 likes in the chat. Man, thank you so much. Clint Park says, great game, fun time, and the top of the 8th. Forgot I was playing. So holiday, yeah, I thought so. It's the same in Ireland, also in the Netherlands. So I was assuming you'd be off. So good, good, good. World's Worst Gamer says Irish Musil needs way more bats. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Musil's tough. All right. Anyhow, I need to give me a second here while I look for the specific report for you. As far as streaks go for teams, it's going to be in the league report, I guess. Standings, records, injuries, league records. That's just team. Well, let's see. It might give us a. Let's see. Losses. There we go. Losing streak. So Providence actually and Bellingham each have the longest losing streaks in this league at 7 games. Manchester, you had 6, so a 6-game losing streak. Winning streaks, Manchester has the most with 8. Bellingham and Carolina at 7. Providence and Cleveland with 6. So who's winning at home? Philadelphia has the most wins at home with 37. Who has the most road wins? Manchester, followed by Providence. Road losses, Carolina. So Carolina getting killed on the road. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to see here on this report. I'll leave it up for a second. Clinton says he was watching New Year's Day parade in London. You're welcome, MV. All right, I guess that's it. I don't know how many folks have to work tomorrow, but I know I don't, so that's nice. And since I do tend to stream late, there won't be any change in any schedule that I anticipate at this point, except for Tuesdays and Saturdays. You're most welcome. Cousin Ken says, excellent night. Thanks. Thank you. Thank all of you. You guys make it so much fun as we get down to the end of this. Robbie has to work. What are you doing tomorrow, Robbie? You working a concert or F-ball or what are you doing, man? Clinton's off tomorrow. Nice. That's good. A lot of places off tomorrow. It's always weird when a holiday falls on a Sunday because to me, holidays always feel like Sundays. So I'll be all messed up tomorrow because everybody will still be off, and now it's going to feel like a second Sunday. MV says if we play 500 baseball, we should crawl over the line. Robbie working the Cotton Bowl. World's Worst Gamer saying wow. And my Penn State Nittany Lions, I guess that was played today, was the Rose Bowl. So I guess that's over with. I don't keep up with it, but I know that my undergraduate alma mater was there at the Rose Bowl. Don't know if they won. Yeah, you should at 500. You should, because we are at game 120. You should be able to do it. You absolutely should. Anything can happen. We're not going to auto out anymore in this league, though. We're doing a game a night. Sometimes when we have enough people and they want to do it, we'll do a doubleheader. We haven't done a doubleheader in ages, but you guys should enjoy, roll up your own games, play some games since you don't have to get up for work tomorrow. I don't want to keep you guys here. And I'm guessing with everybody off, Al, other people are probably doing some stuff too right now. I don't know. But yeah, we're done here tonight. Thank you guys. This was a longer game than usual, but a good game. Heartbreaking loss for Cleveland, but really didn't hurt them as they just joined a four-way tie for second place. Looking at tomorrow's matchups really quickly, let me see if there's anything compelling here. Always fun to try to pick these. We have one, two, three. We have three Hall of Fame pitchers tomorrow. So we'll just pick. We might even just auto out the 18th because the 19th. Yep. You know what? Executive decision because the 19th is going to bring a really, really good game. So I'm going to do the 18th right now. Let's just do it for everybody. All right, Providence and Carolina. Here we go. And for you guys that missed it, you'll get to see tomorrow night the standings in case anybody ducking out. That's all good. Here we go. Carolina over Providence, 7-5. Noodles Hahn with the win. George Mullen with the loss. Sam Crawford for Carolina goes 3 for 4 with 2 stolen bases. Philadelphia and Arsenal. Philadelphia beats Arsenal 5-2. Eddie Seacott gets the win. He goes to 9-9. Nat Rucker with the loss, 9-17. Hannes Wagner starting to heat up, 2 for 4 with a triple. Butler and Liverpool. Butler edges Liverpool 6-5. Amos Russi gets the win. Deacon Philippe gets the loss. Amos Russi, the pitcher, goes 3 for 4 including a home run, 3 runs batted in. Bellingham and Cleveland. Let's auto it. Bellingham beats Cleveland 5-1. We may see a change in the standings as both Liverpool and Cleveland dropping a game. Bellingham, again, 5-1. Lever with the win, Joss with the loss. Finally, Manchester and St. Louis. Almost hit play there. And let's go back to August 18th. Manchester 4, St. Louis nothing. Pete Alexander gets the win. He goes to 14-12. Hughes gets the loss. Goes to 2-16. Cupid Childs 3 for 5 with a stolen base. So we will see a change in the standings. D. Scott says he's retired, but he's off from dog sitting for a couple of weeks. Just picking one of these at random here so that the game will do what it's got to do. There we go. Notice Action PC 2023 updates faster too than this. All right, now we have one team in sole possession of second place in Manchester, 3 games in front, 66-54. Philadelphia in second place, 3 games back. Providence, Cleveland, and Liverpool tied for third at 4 games out. Butler is 5 out. Bellingham 6 games back. Carolina 7 out. Arsenal 8 games out, and St. Louis 19 out. So tomorrow night's game is going to be, we got some good ones, but it's going to be Manchester at Cleveland. So Feaster at Bagby. Unless we get a home manager in here that would rather manage. Pretty good pitching matchup with Vic Willis and Ed Walsh. Also tomorrow, Pud Galvin and Lefty Grove. So Butler at Arsenal, if Robbie feels like managing, then we'll do that. If he doesn't, we'll just auto that game out. Be nice to see Lefty Grove, though. Yep, some really good games coming up for sure. Hope you guys don't mind that I did the 18th. There wasn't really any good pitching matchups, and the games were kind of eh. So tight league here, but Manchester on the second run through the first time, Manchester won the pennant by 2 games. They've been holding this 3-game lead for a while, guys. So if it were to end today, it'd be a 3-game World Series between Manchester and Philadelphia if this were the end of the season. So we are at the 19th. We will do call-ups on the 30th. So that will be a night we won't do a stream. If everybody can make it, and I'll keep reminding you. Actually, let me see. That's going to be 2 weeks from today, so that'll be fine. So we'll say 2 weeks from today. Let me just bring up the old calendar. Yeah. So February 1st. No, wait, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So boom, boom, boom. So let's just say January 16th. We will do our September call-ups. So mark your calendars. We can put that in the Discord as well. We should all probably decide, and if you want to discuss in Discord, how many players you want to bring up. And because I know how to do the draft properly now, we can also decide to keep it in dead ball, or we can do the same rule that we did with Robbie Wartburg, and you can bring in, everybody can bring in 5 players from the 1920s. But the home run cutoff is below 13 home runs for a hitter, and no Babe Ruth, no Lou Gehrig. Well, no Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is still out of this league, but Fox, Gehrig, guys like that would be available. So just to spice it up a bit, or if you want to keep it right in dead ball, we can do that too. Some things we can talk about. That's not for 2 weeks yet. World's Worst Gamer, when you come in and there's a home manager, either Butler or Liverpool, and you ever feel like managing, I know no commitment, just let me know. Love to have you manage a game. Big prejudice against home runs, especially against Babe Ruth. We love him, But somebody gets Babe Ruth, and oh my God, then you've got somebody that was one of the greatest pitchers in the dead ball era, and you know one of the greatest hitters in baseball. Funny how Babe Ruth could upset the balance. In fact, in this league right now, guys, I think there's like 44 home runs in this entire league. So imagine Ruth just in I don't know what Ruth could do in 30 games. Ruth could really mess things up. So Babe Ruth is not allowed in this league. Bambino's up there in heaven. He's smiling, having a beer and a stogie, saying, "Hey, kid." So good stuff. We're getting close to Negro League baseball. The Pirates on the verge of elimination. I played game three today. Was it game three or game four? Game three. So the Bucks getting closer to elimination, um, facing the Yankees. So once that's over, we're going to start laying the groundwork for a Negro League project on here. And it'll run concurrently to Ned McGreevy. Then when Ned McGreevy's done, I have no bloody idea what to do next. It won't be a season replay, I'll tell you that. I'm thinking, I don't know, I want to get out of dead ball for a little bit. Shock, isn't it? So I don't know what to do next for a project after the McGreevy League is done. So we'll see. Damn Yankees. Beatles, can you quickly show me Carolina's roster? Absolutely. Glad to. Okay, there we go. Hopefully your screen's clear enough. Have the batters up first, and when you're ready, I'll switch to pitchers. Carolina is pretty strong, by the way. Pretty strong team. They got Sam Crawford, Zach Wheat, Tommy Leach, Larry Doyle, Sherry McGee, Donnie Bush, excellent on defense. So some good players there. The World War II years, that would be kind of fun. 1960s could do the 60s, um, and I have a bunch of different types. I have Steve Tate's 1960s decade, which is really cool. I have the classic decades from DK Sports. Also have franchise best 1960s, and then I also have a 1960s draft league that I did, where players are on all kinds of different teams. So the 1960s would be a possible project. Okay, pitchers. You got Cy Young, Joe McGinnity, Vic Willis, Chief Bender. Orville overall not doing as well as I expected in this league. Frank Kitson doing pretty well though with a 2.69 earned run average. And he's 10-7. So um, D. Scott Howard wanting one arm Pete Gray. Well, if we were in the 40s, you could get Eddie Gaedel. So that's Carolina. I don't know how many 20-game winners we have here. I think we only have one, I think, in this league. Just one. Let me look at that because that's got me curious and curiouser. All right, 1960s. That sounds either that or World War II. That would be kind of fun. So we would do World War II. It's 1941. We can't count 1940. Well, we could. Nah, because if we include 1941 in a World War II, right? Because the United States didn't enter the war until December of 1941. So we would go what 1942 to 45. Because with 41, you're gonna have DiMaggio, you're gonna have Williams. So good idea from Clinton Parks. The war years, World War II years, because doing World War One isn't going to make any sense because you just had that abbreviated season in 1918 when the baseball season ended in September. Woodrow Wilson's work or fight order. Let me see what we have here. Yep, only one 20-game winner, Old Hoss Radbourne for Providence, 23. Who's on the verge? Eddie Plank, Pud Galvin at 19, Ed Walsh, Christy Mathewson, each at 18, Addie Joss, Jack Chesbrough, Mickey Welch at 17, and then Three Finger Brown at 16, and Rube Waddell has 15. So we will have a few more 20-game winners, that's for sure. D. Scott Howard also like Monty Stratton. Robbie Warbrick says, by the way, I put rosters for each team. Robbie, I was going to ask you if you could. I know this is kind of a pain, but if you put those in there along with the Diamond Mine League, which I think you did, could you move those to other PC baseball games? Because the idea is if we could please, and I'm asking please, so that way we can go through and it's going to be easier to track things. Whereas with the baseball for Windows thing, since it has nothing to do with Ned McGreevy League, maybe the next time you catch John, he could make another thing for baseball for Windows. Would that be all right, Robbie? Because that's going to kind of clog things up and get things a little bit. Because if you start putting your baseball for Windows project up there and your Diamond Mine project for Ned McGreevy, it could just get things a little bit cloggy. Not being nasty, just asking if you could please do that. Really appreciate it. D. Scott says, favorite nickname from the Warriors, Ray Stormy Weatherly, Dr. Creepy Creepy. That'd be fun. I'm kind of liking the World War II years. I think that's a cool idea. Very small draft pool, but we could still get 8 teams out of it, 8, 10 teams. It'd be a pretty strong league. All right, so 2 candidates, the 1960s and the World War II years. Maybe we'll do a poll sometime. Okay, thank you, Robbie. So that was just an accident. Appreciate it. MV says Willie Mays, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Juan Marichal, Mickey Mantle, Lou Brock, Frank Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Roger Maris, Tony Oliva. Right? And it goes on and on and on. The 60s was certainly a great decade. I mean, you got to put Boog Powell in there. Rod Carew. No, I get you. 1960s are great. I mean, the only reason I want to make this democratically. And as D. Scott Sauer says, playing big draft pool, just not baseball. Are we talking 1960s or 1940s, D. Scott? So you love 1960s baseball. Yep, Gibson, McLean. The only reason I would like to do it, Ernie Banks, is because beyond reading, again, I think these games, and I'm a voracious reader, but playing these games is a great adjunct to learning. It'd be kind of fun. Yeah, Billy Williams, Tom Seaver. D. Scott Howard says both. Yep, Ron Santo. Willie Stargell. Yeah, Don Clendenin was a damn good player in the 1960s. Harmon Killebrew. Did you put Killebrew up there? No. Killer Killebrew. Can't forget him. Frank Howard. 1960s. I know 1960s players. I just don't know who was in what worlds. I know who was in 1967, 68, 69, 60, 61, 62. I don't know. So 1963, 64, 65, and 66. Although 66, the Orioles were in this series. I just don't remember who they played. I'm really weak with the 60s, man. Johnny Callison for Ken. Absolutely. Yeah, Tim McCarver, Joe Horlin. Waiting for that from MV. Nice. Al Kaline. Oh, holy hell. Geez, you just talk about the Tigers, man. Willie Horton. And the 60s, you had all the Willies in the game. Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell, Willie Mays. Tom Trush, Jim Bunning. Pete Rose. It seems like everybody seems to be going more toward the 1960s. And I'm too lazy. I could do a poll, but I'm too bloody lazy to do a poll. All right, so put it up here. Willie Davis, there you go. All right, guys, just type either WW2 or 60s. And let's see. I don't want to put up a poll. Let's just do it now. Yep, the Alou brothers. So after Ned McGreevy ends, do you guys want 1960s or World War II years? Okay, we got to vote for the 1960s. Hank Aaron, 2 for the 1960s. 3, and we have 6 viewers, so we'll see who's going to be a contrarian here, if anybody. I'm going to vote, but I'm not going to vote. Doesn't okay. 1960s it is. 1960s it is. So that will be our next project. Do you guys now? Here's the other thing we can do. Do you guys want to do a 1960s league the way I did? Create a 1960s draft league just for giggles, where we just throw everybody in from 1960 to 1970, or 60 to 69. I'll say 60 to 70, and do a big draft pool. And now that we know how the draft works, we should be able to get everybody drafted pretty quickly. Or do you want to actually? I can dump in, like, say the top 3 best teams, like using that franchise best thing from Dave, and then give you a random draft order, and you pick the team you want. I don't know how you guys want to do it, but we can figure that out later. But 1960s will be fun. We can get that started, at least the drafting done. Ned McGreevy doesn't have to be completely finished for us to start the draft for the 1960s, so we can do that as a break from these games broadcasting. World's Worst Gamer, there's our contrarian. He wants the 2030s. That's awesome. So MV wants the putting everybody into a draft pool and going that way. All right, you guys good with that? Because it's a lot of fun and it's super fast. When I did, thank you, D Scott. D Scott said yes. When I did the 1960s, let me bring it up for you guys really quickly. It says use it all. I would suggest that there has to be a limit on how far in the 70s to go. Do you use it all? You mean all of baseball history? I thought about an all of baseball history draft. Oh, 1960s. Okay. I thought about a project down the line, all of baseball history. However, we have to talk about that too, because the decade file is really cool. We can do that. It's easy enough to just dump players. Doesn't matter. Um, I thought about for down the line an all of baseball history draft, but the 2 conditions are 25-man rosters, period, right? And we're going to split baseball into 5 eras, and you have to draft 5 players from each era. That way, that's going to keep people from loading up on everything. So it's got to be 5 players from each era. I don't know when that will ever happen. That would probably be later this year. But again, I want to try to avoid season replays when I can online, because I just think they're kind of And besides, you guys want season replays. You got RGL Network, who's doing 1988. Um, and I don't know, Al Red Sox fan hasn't done a replay in a while, a baseball replay that I can remember. He's been gravitating more toward one of this as well, so. Oh my God. Robbie, it already isn't the same sport. By 2030, baseball might not be the same sport if Manfred is still in charge. It already isn't, my friend. Well, here, let me just really quickly, since you guys are the diehards, let me exit this. I'm going to bring up Action PC 2023, and I'll show you the options that we have. Yeah, I do too, Clinton. I have everything in Action PC Baseball, from 1880 to present, and a ton of other projects. So let's look at some of the stuff that we have. What the hell am I even playing here? What is this? Oh, this was just that. This is one of Steve's files. This is a 1901 to 1942 franchise, which would be a lot of fun to pick from too. for an early to mid baseball type draft league, which would be a lot of fun. This is already set up to go and play. So these are great franchise players from 1901 to 1942. Really good stuff, again, using Steve's. Let me show you guys what we possibly have here for 1960s stuff. So let's look in our seasons folders. I'm going to display all zip files. So this is going to be ridiculous. All right, so here's what we have. We have Steve's file. We have somebody else did one called 1960s all-time franchise great. We have Steve's. Steve has this other. Oh, this is his late. No, wait. Is this the latest? Yes. So we have Steve's file here. We have. I'm not gonna. So just forget all the seasons. So we're gonna scrolly. We have the 1960s franchise best. That's from Dave Cook Sports. We also have the baseball classic decade 1960s. Yes, we do have the baseball history collection, and we have the decade teams is not going to give us enough of a draft pool. We have Steve's 5-year franchises, and that's the rest of that stuff. So I'm thinking either baseball history collection or maybe Steve's file, I think. Is there anyone you guys want to look at? Doesn't matter. The 1869 team. Let's look at one of Steve's files here. Let's look at, oh, that, okay. Well, let me show you guys what I did with this 1960s draft league. This is from the baseball history collection, and I used fictional names. And a lot of the guys that we named are in here, and some we haven't named either. So there's Frank Malzono's Albie Pearson. So what I did is I just ran a draft, 1960 to 1970, and drafted from the baseball history collection to use these guys. I'll just pick, let's say Portland. Just pick them at random. And so you've got Jim Wynn, Ted Ulander, Rocky Colavito, Rico Carty, which nobody mentioned, Rico, Tommy Harper, Ed Bringman, Don Clendenin, Buck Rogers in the 25th and a half century. There's Jim Lefevre, Ron Santo. Pitching, Sandy Koufax, Bob Lee, Joe Horlin for MV. So we could do something again like this. But then we'll show you guys Steve's 1960s file, because that will have the Cubs. The franchise file, we'll also look at that really quickly. And here's new. Actually, we'll go to that first. This is the newest version, I believe. Yep. So for 1960s, as D. Scott rightly points out, there's going to be underrepresented teams. There's only one, or there's two Chicago Cubs teams, 67 to 71 and 75 to 79, for the Cubbies. So we would basically, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we would have, so we'd make 1971 the cutoff point, I guess. We would have 9 teams to draft from Steve's file if we did the 1960s. Yep, the McGreevy. D. Scott Howard got it. Thank you. I'm glad somebody got it. Thank you. I put it into the Dr. John's, and thank you, D. Scott Howard. It is McGreevy. Absolutely. One of the great pianists of all time. Get his book, Under a Voodoo Moon. It's awesome. Cubs to Bears coming in. If you did an every player who ever played baseball draft, Castro would still pick Old Haas first, says Cubs to Bears. Yeah, well, Robbie, just go on one of those. It's on one of his. If you look past on one of my streams, just go to his channel. You'll see those files. Oh, new thing, guys. New thing. In Action PC 2023. So, right, we're all familiar with Baseball Reference. Look at this stuff in bold. How cool is that? You're seeing league leaders in bold. This is also new in Action PC 2023. So nice stuff. Nice stuff. Let me show you Steve's 60s franchise league, by the way, guys. And I believe this is it. He did this back in 2014. And there we go. So let's pick, since the Cubs were mentioned, let's pick the Cubs. And since the Cubs the Bears are in here. So we got, let's look at hitters first, always. Billy Williams, Jim Hickman. Let me see so we have Ernie Banks. There's Randy Hundley. Glenn Beckert, I know about him. There's Lou Brock with the Cubs. I want to see if we have any doubles up here. Let me look in the Cardinals. Because Steve might have doubled some players up here. Let me see if Brock's in the Cardinals really quickly. Yep, he is. So this comes ready to play, but just fair warning, if you don't like duplicate players, you're going to have to decide whether you want to release Lou Brock, and you would have to go through each team. But that being said, this is a great one. So we could draft from this, but we're going to have Lou Brock twice. But depending upon Brock, the game will delete partial players, it would call. So if Lou Brock has significantly fewer at bats, I think it is, or however you can set it up in the draft, then we would only have Lou Brock once. So this is another option. We have a lot of options. Well, so as far as that goes, Robbie, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to bring that out, and I wish I did this when we had 10 people in here, but I'll keep announcing this. For Steve Tate, guys, I am going to put up a website, and if he wants to host his files, that would be cool. I also want to put up a PayPal donate button for Steve Tate for all the work that he's done. He's doing this as a labor of love. He would never ask anybody for this, but I think we should do that. Why Minnesota is nothing, and why is not Minnesota? I wonder if he knows this. Minnesota has no record. That's weird. I'll have to ask him tomorrow when I do the Ernie Harwell thing. MV, hey, there's our Red Sox fan. Al, before you run away, I got a question for you. Before you run away, buddy, Happy New Year. I want to get I want to put up a website for Steve Tate and put a little bit of a sort of PayPal donate. Just people would throw a couple bucks. Would you mind? Just it has nothing to do with my channel. Would you mind maybe just would you ask some people in your channel if they'd be up for something like that? I think Steve should get a few bucks, even if we just $4 or $5, whatever, for all the work that he's done. It's been incredible man hour, and dude, you have a way, way, way bigger channel than I do, and I know that you, with playing his files, a lot of people have been getting to them. They have from my little channel. As MV says, Happy New Year, Al, from the United Kingdom, and Bonjour, Al, from World's Worst Gamer. The Master Collection might work the best, MV, only because we don't have to worry about picking best seasons. So that's why I like that. So a lot going on. Al Red Sox fans says send me an email, Beatles. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's tough to hear me. Wow, it's coming through. I'll definitely send you an email, buddy. It's been a while. No problem. All right, guys. Well, again, we're not going to start the 1960s for probably around the time we do our September call-ups for Ned McGreevy. And we do have other options as well for the 1960s. I'll show you one more. I'll have to install the season, but I don't care. Let's look in our seasons folder again. And let's go to 1960s franchise best. This is a Dave Cook product. We'll install it. And it's done. And we'll show you what we have here. So this one is ready to play. I don't think this one has duplicates. This is a commercial product. Once again, though, I think this is so cool that you see league leaders in bold. Real nice. But let me check this one really quickly here, because I want to try to avoid. Okay, so I do not see. Okay, good. Yeah, Lou Brock's not on here. So this would be another option. So that way we wouldn't have any duplicate players. So Brock should be properly just on St. Louis for this. Yep, there he is. Nice to see. This is my Bucks starting to rebuild 2.5 back. So this one, this one will be really nice too. Just release everybody into this. We got a hell of a draft pool. So we wouldn't have to worry about trying to pick a player's best year. We could just go from here. Does he give us the years? Yeah, so here's like this. So this is the 1962 Giants. We may have some duplication now that I think about it. Oh, I shouldn't have done it that way. Yeah, yeah, we will, because Willie McCovey. Did I see Willie McCovey in there? Did he sneak by me? No, it was just the screen changing. So that would be the problem with these, is we may have some duplicate players. I'm thinking, let me see, let's look at the mess. Yep. Yeah, so where's Don Clendenin? Yeah, so there's Don Clendenin, and he was also a Pirate player. Yeah, but when did Clendenin play for the Bucks? It was in the 60s. Is Clendenin on this team? I don't know. This one might work. Well, yeah, Robinson, Frank Robinson, Milt Pappas. You know what you could do? Yeah, Manny Mota was on both teams. So what we could do on that, since 7 people are hanging around, I'm not holding a gun to your heads. If we would decide to use Steve's file or the Dave Cook file, as opposed to just dumping in, and I could just dump in a bunch of teams from the 60s, or we just do the baseball history collection again, would be, let's say that you want to draft Don Clendenin. You could choose, if you choose Don Clendenin from the Mets, you nobody can choose the Don Clendenin from the Pirates. So there are ways around it. A lot of White Sox Tigers. Yeah. I mean, I think we can get around it though. I think we can get around it. It would just be the case of what we want, how we want to do it. I think the baseball history collection is still going to be the best thing to use, but Steve's would be nice only because he's created those averages and did all that work himself. So we're getting, so like with these stats, we'll pick the, why not just grab the Red Sox here for instance. So we're looking at the actual 1967 Red Sox and the stats for that team. Wouldn't it be more fun using Steve's file or the baseball history collection to to see Yastrzemski with a different average? I don't know how you guys want to do it. Reggie Smith, I don't know. Be something to talk about. So many damn possibilities. It's crazy. And I've got these up. I'm so tempted to do one more game, but it's 2:06 a.m. on the East Coast. So, and don't say it, Robbie. Robbie says that he has quite a few names in there familiar with. Yeah, I would imagine you would be. Good stuff. D. Scott Howard says, I have guys guarding themselves all over my 5 years franchise basketball league. I expect it to really implode. Nice. I think a 1960s league would be a blast. I might leave this up here and screw around with it when I go offline. Maybe I'll just play like by myself. Play for myself, right? All right, let me see. Before somebody else said it. So we are going to make all players available and active and execute availability. And now all those NAs should be gone from here. So let's look. Yep, there we go. Everybody's ready to rock now. This which 1960s League MV? The one I'm showing right now. And this one's from DK Sports. So it's good stuff. And V's going to do some solo play. Good, good, good. Enjoy your day off. Enjoy your holiday, mate. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. Yeah, I'm going to play a game offline. Both, but you're still for the baseball history collection. Because this is DK Sports here that we're looking at as well. And then whatever else we have. I haven't looked at the baseball classic files yet. I could look at the 70s one just to see. These are from Dave Cook. Let me see what these do. Where's Pittsburgh? Because I can always tell from Pittsburgh. Okay, yeah, this is just I guess what Dave Cook did or whatever, because these aren't the 1979 Pirates. Some of them, but like Roberto Clemente, obviously, right? Gene Clines wasn't with the Bucks in '79. Moreno was playing center. So I'm not sure what these classic decades are. These are the classic decades from Dave Cook. That's a whole different thing than the franchise best. So that's what we'd run into. So anyhow, I'm going to go back to the 1960s. Um, different one. There's so much 1960s, so much, just so much stuff. Where's the most recent one I put it now? 1960s best franchise. There it is. This is the one we're looking at. Cool. Yeah, the history file you meant from Dave Cook. Yep, absolutely. Loves to do 60s files, but there may be. Yeah, there will be. There will be. All right. Well, something to think about. So, I hope some more of you will consider Action PC, and even if you have Out of Park Baseball, which is on sale for 3 more days for $10. You get those two, and then you still roll cards and dice. Why not? Have two good PC games, and if you're on the go, there's always Out of the Park Go, which is pretty good, although it's still not optimized. Still can't recommend that game. It's still not optimized very well for Android or iOS. It's not well optimized this year at all. So baseball history collection, and we do a draft. We'll probably go that way, I guess. I don't know. Has to be the Seattle Pilots, right? Wow. Okay, so I know Tommy Davis, Mike Hagan, Tommy Harper, of course, Billy Williams, of course. Yeah, Billy Williams. What pitchers do I know here? Diego Segui, Skip Lockwood, Jim Bouton, Gene Bradbender, Mike Marshall. Mike Marshall, I didn't know he pitched for the Pilots. Was this his rookie year? So, I mean, I know Mike Marshall, right, as a Dodger. So, hmm, fun. So Mike Marshall was a Seattle Pilot. Let me see. Yeah, yep, Six Stadium. So Mike Marshall was a Seattle Pilot. See, I really, really, really am so weak on 1960s baseball. At least we have Six Stadium though now, thanks to D. Scott Howard. We can actually assign there. MV says I'm having a blast in out of the park baseball with Kamishimoto and watching games started in 1959. Yeah, I really like that. There's something similar in Action PC, but not quite as robust. D. Scott Howard says I spent 1969 glued to the radio in Central Washington. MV saying so he could see the evolution of 60s baseball. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, right? So, out of the park is good for a lot of things. A lot of things. Not knocking it. I still love it. It is still a great baseball game. I mean, I think for setting up tournaments and doing World Series, out of the park is so much easier than this. So, all right. So Robbie Wartburg says that he thinks Action PC 2023 is so much better. It's so much better than an already superb baseball sim. Yeah, I would agree with that. Dodgers are great, but lost the pennant on the last series. All right, so 1960s baseball, and maybe we can make the World War II years after that. But so what's on tap? Ned McGreevy League, and then we're also gonna start to, MV and I will start to put together Negro leagues on Action PC baseball, and then as McGreevy starts to wind down, we'll get the 1960s up and running. So that way, there's just two projects running on this channel at night. Baseball for Windows doesn't count because I can just sit there and listen and type at you guys. But there's only a few people in during those Baseball for Windows games. So the Cubs, the Bears, let the Reds, the Dodgers beat the Sox in 1959. Yeah, the Go-Go Sox. Great seeing Stan Musial, an aging player but so batting great from Donora, Pennsylvania. I don't know. I think we should name it after Sandy Koufax. We should name the 1960s league after Sandy Koufax. Just celebrated his 87th birthday, the left hand of God. Just my opinion. We could have two leagues though. We could pick a great pitcher and a great hitter from the 1960s, have two leagues, but and have some interleague play. But I think that would get messy. So probably just do one. I don't know. We'll see. It's whatever you guys want. I want to try to be really democratic about this. Great ideas that you guys are floating tonight. Really, really appreciate it. I'm all into the community thing being a socialist, man. So sorry if that turns off anybody out here, but yes, I am a socialist. Lived in socialist countries and it works. Democratic socialism, it works. You have freedom of speech and you got all kinds of stuff taken care of for you. I dig socialism, man. But there you go. And you can still make great money in a socialist country. Look at this. What is this? So, however this is played out, how are you getting the New York Mets are 100 wins and 62 losses? How the hell did that happen? Jesus, look at that team though, huh? Tom Seaver, Tug McGraw, Jerry Kuzman. I know Al's a bit of a Mets fan now, so that's cool. Cleon Jones, Ed Kranepool. There's Don Clendenin. Clendenin is going to be in the Pirates though again, I think, somewhere. Wait, 1960? No. Hey, maybe. I don't know. The Cubs, the Bears, the Frank Robinson League. Yeah, that's a good one too, right? Jeez. MV says the Coco LaBoy League. Minor leaguers make the show who do not in real life. What a name. So for minor league projects, that's definitely out of the park baseball. Definitely out of the park baseball for minor league projects because there's a few home brews for Pacific Coast League for Action PC, but Action PC is no good for the minors. Unless there's a ton of home brews out there, but I'm not interested in minor league baseball except to go see it. So the Chico Ruiz League, there we go. Yeah, Frank Robinson. Why not, man? Frank Robinson, of course, right in that played for the 1961 Reds, played for the Orioles. Frank was awesome. Great player on into the 70s. Love him. God, there's a bunch of bucks here I don't know here. Who the hell was R.C. Stevens? Who is Harry Bright? I've heard of Mickey Vernon. So there's this is how weak I am in the 60s. There's pirates here I don't know. Roman Mejas have no or Mejias. I have no idea who that dude is. I have no idea. But he's wearing. See, was he a red? I don't know. He's wearing that B up there. I think that's a Red Sox B. I have no idea who that dude is. No clue. Yeah, again, Robbie, I'm not interested in minor league baseball except to go see it live. And I live one thing about Pennsylvania, it's got its problems, but we have tons and piles of baseball, Major League Baseball, minor league baseball here, independent baseball, and some night I'm going to take on Al head to head. Pennsylvania versus Massachusetts in Action PC. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I want to take them on. The Pennsylvania team's wicked, and so is the Massachusetts League. Rumor has it that in 1966, Smokey Burgess didn't bother to bring his catcher's mitt. DH before the DH. Good old Smokey, huh? All right, people are starting to drop off. We're down to 5 viewers. I think we're almost up to the first Lord of the Rings movie now, theatrical release. We still haven't beaten Return of the King yet. The extended version at 4 hours and 20 minutes. Al did a long stream yesterday or last night, or was it the other night? Big night of wrestling. I think it was the other night. Yeah, couldn't have been last night because I was doing other stuff. So Friday night. Good stuff from Al. The Peace and Lovely Groovy League. Well, considering the name of my channel is Beatles Eternally, not only the greatest band ever, but the band that defined the 1960s and forward. I don't know. Would that be stereotyping? Would that be typecasting? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be typecast. Look what happened to Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory. You think that guy's going to be able to get another role to save his life? He's Sheldon Cooper to the end of his days now. A very rich Jim Parsons, of course, but I don't know about that, man. It'd be cool though. I could riff off some stuff on my synthesizer, sounding very Iron Butterfly and stuff. That'd be all right. Maybe lift 20 seconds of Jimi Hendrix national anthem, right? That'd be cool. All right, so MV's off for some brekkie. All right, ta lad, and I think we're gonna cut it off here as we're down to 5. So, big thank you to MV, the world's worst gamer, D. Scott Howard, Robbie Wartberg, the Strawberry Fields League. Don't tempt me. Where'd I leave off here? The Cubs, the Bears. You guys are awesome. You're funny, man. World's worst gamer. I don't believe he is the world's worst gamer. To our Red Sox fan who hung out for a few minutes. Thanks, buddy. Clinton Parks. Ba, ba, ba. Boy, this was a busy chat tonight. Um, Cousin Ken Castro, of course. Todd B. Tough loss for Todd B tonight, but took it with grace. And make sure I didn't miss midlife crisis because he gets upset if I miss him. Steve Tate, looking forward to some baseball for Windows. John DFW hung out for a little while tonight. Hopefully he's getting over the flu. And I think that's it, guys. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds League. The Hard Days Night League. Here's one. Hardcore Beatles fan here. How about the Tomorrow Never Knows League? If you've never heard that Beatles song, go listen to it. It's still played in dance clubs today. Just the beat in that is wicked. We could call it the Rain League. Rain, great song from the Beatles. These are now bringing out some ones that are lesser known. You've got to be a Beatles fan to know Rain and know Tomorrow Never Knows. But great songs. Can't Buy Me Love League. That will be for Robbie Wartburg. The Can't Buy Me Love League. Yeah, but you know what, Robbie? Opinion. What else? What else could they do with Big Bang Theory? I think they it ran its course. What were they going to do now, right? Everybody was married, so you kind of lost that cool geek thing that was going on with them playing Magic the Gathering and D&D and going to Comic Con and stuff. You know, somehow watching Sheldon and Amy and Leonard and Penny. And Raj got screwed, man. Raj ended up not with somebody. He got screwed. That was not cool. So, I love the show, but I'm glad they didn't run it into the ground. Man, oh man. MV, are you familiar with Tomorrow Never Knows? Are you familiar with that song? Yes, right? And here's the really cool thing. That song is one chord. One chord. And the seagulls that you hear in that's actually they recorded Paul McCartney laughing and George Martin sped up the tape. Sounds like seagulls, but it's Paul McCartney laughing. Um, Tomorrow Never Knows is brilliant. I've done that live with bands and people's jaws drop when they hear that one done live. It's really cool. Our Lady Peace did a pretty cool cover of it in a movie called The Craft. But yeah, Tomorrow Never Knows is just a ripping song. Made for trippin'. It's rippin'. All right, we don't want this to turn into a Beatles chat now. I do want to do a subject some night though. Not now, not this late hour, but just to get on and let's talk about why we love baseball. Maybe we'll start out with a game and just kind of talk about what brings us together here, right? So we have a Brit, right? Turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream. It's the first line of that song. John was written the reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Yeah, the Dead covered it. Yep. And so did Tangerine Dream. Also covered Tomorrow Never Knows. So if you like Tangerine Dream, check out their version. It's pretty interesting. Saw them do it live. The great Edgar Froese, however you say his name. It's a German name, but Edgar was a bloody genius. Tangerine Dream. Strongly recommend you listen to Tangerine Dream. Great band. Mostly instrumental. Um, but yeah, I'd like to some night because look, here we are, right? We got MV over there at 7:26 a.m. in the UK. We got D Scott over on the left coast, right, at 11:26. Here we are, 5 people now, the hardcores. We had 13 likes tonight. One time we had 10 in the chat. What brings us together? What do we love about this game? Let's talk about baseball some night. Not the computer games, not cards and dice, but baseball. Why do we love it? Let's talk about it some night. Let's talk about our baseball memories. What got you into it? Um, and I know for some of you, baseball is not your favorite sport. For me, it's really my only sport. I know Robbie likes every sport under the sun. But it would just be fun to talk about just your love for baseball. Let's do that some night. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And MV, for you especially, if we can get it on a night like maybe a Friday night, like when you're not working Saturday, um, get you in here because I really want to get your perspective on baseball because baseball's kind of gaining a little bit of ground in old Blighty, but let's face it, it's never going to eclipse cricket or footy. But it is gaining it's gaining some love in Ireland as well, by the way. And the Netherlands has a professional baseball league. So, but that'll be for another night because I'm just curious and because I'm looking back here at this great gift that D. Scott Howard had given me, the Fireside Book of Baseball, which D. Scott I've actually fallen in love with. So I cannot thank you enough for that. Okay, so the only sport Robbie does not like is golf. The Dead also cover Tomorrow is Forever by Dolly Parton. Wow. So Dolly Parton answers John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr and says, yeah, Tomorrow is Forever. So therefore, Dolly Parton knows something that the Beatles did not know, huh? V says that would be fab. It'd be fun to talk about our love of the game. MV, I remember him saying he started following baseball in 1979, and the team he's put together on here has been brilliant. But try to steer away from games and talk about baseball, the game. Your memories about it, your disappointments. I know tonight there was a lot of talk about the different franchise crashes and stuff like that. Um, I can certainly air a few private grievances, but I really want to hear from you guys. Maybe we'll do it on StreamYards. Anybody wants to jump on and talk? It'd be fun instead of this having to be a monologue. Getting a few people to come in and talk about the game. I think it would be great. I want to know what you love about baseball. Yeah, I know American football is huge here. I think baseball probably never took off in Blighty because a lot of Brits are still going to say, well, it's cricket, isn't it? And it's rounders. But yeah, I know, and I think American F-ball is huge there because it's descendant of rugby, probably. D. Scott Howard coming with more Tomorrow songs. He's singing Bob Dylan sang Tomorrow is a Long Time. So I guess we have a debate. Does tomorrow never know? Is tomorrow forever or is tomorrow a long time? MV says we'll do got lots of little memories. Be really really anxious to hear them. What anything goes, man. You guys read tons too, as have I. You talk about your favorite teams. We'll all learn something from it, which would be really really fun. I'm hoping maybe I can get some guys in here that don't normally. I know baseball demos. Knows a bit about the White Sox. I'd like to learn a little bit about the White Sox, maybe some of his memories, and yeah, G. Scott Howard. Here we go. So Darby Country used to play soccer at the baseball ground, or Darby County. Sorry, I'm using the British pronunciation. Used to play soccer at the baseball ground. Cool. So there we go. We'll do that as a topic some night, just for fun. The Mets came to Blighty in the 90s. Well, I know there's a game every year in London now. Um, with that ballpark that's like so conducive to home runs, it's not even funny. What a small. Where are they play? Are they playing that in Wembley? MV that ballpark was that built in Wembley or was that actually in London City or where is that? Where MLB plays every year in England? Just curious. I thought it was Wembley, but I could be wrong. All right, we have now passed the theatrical release of the Fellowship of the Ring. Awesome. And The Godfather Part 1. Closing in on Godfather Part 2. All right, so tomorrow, Baseball for Windows. For anybody that wants to listen, it's going to be an all-time greats team league. I don't know who, whatever, probably be a doubleheader. Steve Tate's really into Baseball for Windows, so and it'll give Robbie something to listen to at work. And then tomorrow night, then McGreevy League. So it is at Wembley. Okay, I got it right. Yes, it's at Wembley. Tiny ballpark, though. But it's a neat looking ballpark. I like it. So it's in Wembley. Okay. Tottenham's new ground. I'll have to look it up. I miss I miss the UK, man, and Ireland, of course. Miss it all. I miss Europe. I even miss Holland. Ugly language. I miss it. The only thing is the baseball over there, even though they have a professional league, it's not the same caliber. And most of the players that play baseball in Holland are actually coming from Suriname and the Dutch. They're sort of Commonwealth countries um, in South America. So, any closing thoughts from anybody? We've had lots to talk about, lots of stuff to decide what we want to do on the Negro Leagues projects. Of course, I'm really relying on MV. I know he's been really up for that. So really wanting to get his input and his assistance for the Negro Leagues. ESPN new 30 for 30 on Jeanette Lee is worth a look. I don't know who Jeanette Lee is, so I'm going to look up. I'm going to look at images of Jeanette Lee. Let's see who she is. If she's cute, I'll look. Let's see. Let's go to images. J-E-A. I think she's a J-E. Is she J-E-N-N? J-E-N-N-E-T-T-E. Who is this Jeanette Lee person? Who is this? Oh, did I mean Jeanette Lee? Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say worth a look. Definitely worth a look. Huh. Okay, so she's a world champion billiards player. Black Widow pool legend Jeanette Lee. Oof. She looks deadly, man. So what's the deal with her hair being shaved off, man? What is that all about? Hmm. All right. I would definitely check that out. Quite the looker. The Black Widow. Yeah, I have to find out what they call. Oh, there's even one of her in a bikini. Good Lord. Robbie, don't look at these pictures. They will ruin your innocence. Stage 4 cancer. Wow. All right, I will look. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. All right, there we go. So we're going to check out on ESPN The Black Widow. Jeanette Lee. All right, guys. I'm just hanging out till you guys stop talking at this point. World's Worst Gamer, closing thoughts. Tom Hankey, Dwayne Ward, Dennis Eckersley. Anybody have any thoughts about those guys? Yeah, of course, of course. Of course, we're going to watch her for her pool skills. Oh, that's sure. Oh, that's well, yeah. No, Robbie, that's why I looked at them. I don't want to ruin your innocence. I mean, I hope for a miracle for this woman, obviously. Great, great. Billiards is an awesome game. Pool, whatever you want to call it. Snooker, which is a different game, but fun too, right? Closing thoughts. Oh, you're so good. World's Worst Gamers here all week. Try the tofu, man. Nice stuff. No, I know you had. I know you had to. Right, closing. That was nice. So what about? But you didn't put in Rivera, so you're gonna get a lot of pissed off Yankees fans. Where's Mario and Rivera? But that was good. That was good. MV says Hanky all day. I'll take Eckersley out of that trio, that trinity. Dennis Eckersley. No, Robbie, we really don't need action PC billiards. We really don't need it. Please, please, please. Good God. Because then what's it going to be after that? What's this stupid sport that's rising out of like the muck? Pickleball. Man, I'm hearing about pickleball all over the place. What is that? What is pickleball? I've seen these pickleball places like all over now, and not just in Pennsylvania. I mean, they're like everywhere in the United States. I don't even know what the hell pickleball is. Right? I get to America, it's like, oh, I play pickleball. What is that? It sounds vaguely inspired by Heinz Corporation or something, right? With the green weenie and all that shit. You guys know about the green weenie. Robbie, why would we want action PC billiards? There's lots of billiard games out there, but I just want to know. Pickleball invented in Washington State. It figures you left coasters. See? 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 World's worst gamer. They put frisbee golf at a local park here. Nobody wants that shit. Action PC, what you guys call soccer? Absolutely, I can see that happening. Actually, I'm surprised he hasn't done it. I mean, how hard would it be? I mean, would couldn't you use a lot of the, some of the assets from the hockey game or something? I mean, there is some similarity, I would guess. Frisbee golf, big again out on the left coast. That's because you guys are all stoned out there, man. It's all good though. Yeah, action hot. Right, would be close. Oh, I mean, if I think if he made action PC real football or footy, we'll call it footy. I think it would be huge. I think he'd make a lot of money. That's the biggest. It's the biggest sport in the world, footy, isn't it? Dave Cox says he doesn't know enough about footy. All right. Well, D. Scott Howard, then you and MV should be consultants for a footy game for Action PC. That'd be fine. Robbie wants Action PC curling, Action PC roller derby, which whatever. What else, Robbie? What sports are we missing, man? You're a big sports fan. Action PC Australian rules football. MV says he had put his footy players in the action hockey. Great fun. That is fun. That would be fun. I don't know enough about either sport though, so um, oh, so play.com. So Keith has a derby game. I didn't know that. I used to watch roller derby as a kid. Got a great kick out of it. I couldn't name you one player, but man, they had roller derby on every Saturday morning. Would fire it up. Other kids were eating cartoon or watching cartoons. Buddy, I was watching roller derby. It was epic. Epic, epic stuff, roller derby. Is that still around? Roller derby? You get like a woman grabbing another woman by the long hair and whipping her into that rail. And I never understood what the point of roller derby was, but it certainly was fun. I thought it was cooler than wrestling. Action PC cricket. I was waiting for that MV. Charlie O and the Bay Area Bombers. Roller derby. So it's still a thing. Wow. I didn't know that was still a thing, man. He should do the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, except they wouldn't have very good graphics, I guess. So you know, Owl's talking. Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, God, he is. He's brilliant. Sure knows his baseball. Action PC golf is a hoot. Roller derby is popular. Just girls on a flat track. All right, up. That's it. I'm moving to Washington. I had an offer Alexander Raffini wanted me to move to Washington shortly after I came to America, so should have gone maybe. Someone just needs to teach Dave footy. Yeah, like he has nothing to do, right? How many games does he have out? Baseball, American F ball, basketball, hockey, golf, right? Doesn't he has five sports? Does he want to add a sixth? There's a cricket. Isn't there a cricket game on Steam that's pretty good, MV? I don't know if it's the new cricket that you're talking about or like traditional cricket that they played like if you watch Downton Abbey. I may email Dave asked years ago about cricket or about footy. Because there's a cricket game on Steam. There's a couple cricket games that I've seen in my perambulations around the digital world. I have an external hard drive here that has is it Robin Day? Robin Day's cricket or something like that from the Commodore Amiga or something, and just five. Okay, so just five. So baseball, American F ball, hockey, golf, and basketball. Okay, good to know. World's Worst Gamer. The only game I'm waiting for to come one day is a very serious harness racing sim. That would be a dream for me. Yeah, I mean, APPA, I told you guys back in 2016, I think it was, and the two Earls, we would call them, they had APPA horse racing. So, I mean, it was regular saddle racing, it wasn't harness racing. But a whole bunch of us. D. Scott Howard, do you remember? Do you remember those days, D. Scott? We all got on there. It was on Sundays. For me, it was Sunday night, but we played. They did Apple horse racing. It was brilliant, man. We had that's back when the community was more cohesive. I mean, Jester was there, our Red Sox fan, the two Earls. D. Scott Howard was there. Clinton Parks was there. Ken Castro was there. We had everybody in there, man, on Sundays doing APPA horse racing. It was a blast. It was a blast. Right. Okay. So MV putting up a couple cricket games. Okay. Yeah. Graham Gooch and Bryant. That's what it was. Why am I thinking? What am I thinking? Robin? No, not Robin Day. Whatever. Not Robin Day. I've got the wrong person. Anyhow, Robbie, I'm not going to email him because I don't care about footy myself. I was immersed in it in two countries and really don't care about it. But for other people, it's good. And V says Footy Manager is the granddaddy of the game. Is that the one I'm thinking of? And if you play arcade, MV, Sensible Soccer. Remember Sensible Soccer? That like blew up. Sensible Soccer was awesome. That was a Commodore Amiga game, if you remember that. Arcade game, but it was fun. I did play that. So footy's fun to play as an arcade game, I think, but I don't know shite about it. So Robbie, you could email twice. Just create two emails, and there you go. But I can't be part of it. I'm sorry. This is my game right here. Baseball. I'll be the last baseball fan on earth, man. But no, it's good that you love them all, Robbie. It's except golf. I know golf. Robbie doesn't like golf, but Robbie loves them all, and that's good. I'm not making fun of you, buddy. I think it's cool that you're really into all the sports. I think it's nice. Harness racing. I've seen harness racing. Well, I did back in the past. Not anymore, but I used to also watch. Was it Churchill Downs, man? That was some seriously cool horse racing. Way cooler than Kentucky Derby. Way cooler. Greyhound racing though, bad, bad, bad. Get rid of it. That is like freaking animal cruelty. greyhound racing. That shit needs to be outlawed. So does bullfighting. Those aren't sports. Those are just an excuse for assholes to come in and pay money to see animals being abused. Okay, you do. Oh, so you do remember sensible soccer. Okay, but football manager's your footy go-to. Nice. So miniature golf, I dig. Like miniature golf is cool to play miniature golf. That's nice. And I have a couple miniature golfing things on Steam, which are a blast. Golf with your friends. There's one called Infinite Miniature Golf. There's one more called Golfy. They're fun. Those are cool. Real golf, I appreciate the skill, but what I say is it's some manky Scottish git who invented this game where you chase this little ball, you hit it, and then you chase it, and then you hit it again, and then you hit it into a little hole. So, I don't know. Rogers Hornsby said that, he said, I don't play golf. When I hit a ball, I want somebody else to go chase it. Rogers Hornsby, second highest batting average of all time. Rogers Hornsby knows. I've watched it a couple times on telly. Golf with the green plaid pants and all that kind of stuff those people used to wear. I know some golfers. Arnold Palmer was a golfer, right? Jack Nicholson. Who is that woman? Nancy, what's her face? And somebody with the last name Norman. So I know a few golfers. There we go. Lee Trevino was a golfer. Franco Harris was not a golfer. TV Sports did TV Sports Baseball. They also did TV Sports Basketball and Football, I think, too. F-ball, sorry. Seriously, it is so relaxing. It's many a man's. No, it is. No, I get that. I know a lot of guys that golf, actually. A good friend of mine he takes friends to St. Andrews every year. And it's serious. These guys are serious. I'm a lefty. What do lefties do? We either hook or slice, whichever. That's what I do. Robbie, I know you want action PC bowling too, right? Am I right? I can't believe there are 5 people hanging out here at this time of night. And MV, he wants to be off playing some games, and we're just sitting here having an old chin wag. Robbie, when you do get married, you're going to invite everybody in the YouTube sports gaming community to your wedding, I hope. Do you guys remember leaderboard golf? Leaderboard golf was fun. That was pretty cool. And if you don't know it, get a Commodore 64 emulator and go get leaderboard golf. It's awesome, actually. World's Worst Gamer, Robbie Wartburg. Still a way to feel like you're playing sports and also get out of the house 100% away from the woman. Amen. Yep, leaderboard golf. World's Worst Gamer knows about leaderboard golf. The animation for its time was brilliant too. And then there was Jack Nicklaus Golf, and remember I guess the big thing there was you could design your own golf courses and stuff like that. Or do you remember that? Computer golf's actually really fun, like games like Leaderboard. Leaderboard was brilliant, man, and that same company made bowling. MV says, "Don't do it, Robbie. Don't do it." World's Worst Gamer, Robbie. Yeah, bowling is kind of the same. You get it. I miss bowling, man. My undergraduate days, we used to go every Friday night. We used to go bowling. It was fun. Spray the living shit out of the bowling shoes, man. It was great. You don't know what you're going to catch, right? You get trench foot like they had in the First World War, man. If you go to a bowling alley, you'd never get the thing that we had that pandemic in 2020. I don't think YouTube allows you to say the name of it, so I won't. A good woman is always a home run. Mm-hmm. Still have to sell your soul for her, though. Action PC Bowling says Robbie Wartburg would be a good one with strategy and such in it. Yeah, good woman is good if one finds you. Yeah. No, I mean they're out there. I mean I'm kind of seeing one now, so well not kinda, whatever we are. So yeah, she's good. She's nuts though. Accept that women are nuts, Robbie, and you'll be fine. Just accept that fundamental truth of the universe that they are all crazy, and you'll be good. You'll be fine. The best woman finds you, not the other way around. That is true. That is true. But you still need to get away from them. World's Worst Gamer. Good people are good. They are out there. I just don't care to look for them through all the shit. Yep. Nah, there are good women out there, Robbie. There are. But that being said, in fact, so the woman I'm involved with, we were talking about that tonight. The importance of having each other, like having your time away doing your thing, and I'm like, totally, absolutely. I think a lot of relationships break down because I know couples that they don't do anything apart from one another. That's too much, man. That's like you need space to breathe from one another. Have your own hobbies and stuff, man. World's Worst Gamer says, "Yep, you need time away from good people." Exactly. Oh, MV quoting a Bronx Tale. Uh-huh. MV, right? So if you guys saw the Bronx Tale, what does Sonny tell Calogero? You're allowed three great loves in your life. And he says, hey, I had mine all when I was 16. What are you going to do? So great line from a Bronx Tale. Great quote. Three great loves. And I actually think that's true. I actually think that's true. I'm not sure if I'm out of my. I've had two. I've had two. I might be. I don't know if this one is my third. I don't know yet. But I've had two. And then a lot of tweeners, man. Yeah, a lot of tweeners. When you're a rock musician, you get a shit ton of tweeners, man. Lots of tweeners. But even tweeners have benefits. But yes, they're good people. And you know what? Hanging out with good people in this community. Just chat every night. Whether three of you show up or eight of you show up, it's always fun. MV says, even the best women I've known or been with, I could still be with if I understood women better when I was younger. Oh man, MV, that should be inscribed in marble and granite and everything. Because my first great love, I was just a dumbass and dropped that one. And phew, you're right. You don't realize it, man. You're in your 20s and doing dumb shit, and you lose a great woman. You will. Robbie, you've never seen a Bronx Tale? It's a great, great, great movie. Robert De Niro's directorial debut also plays in it. You should see A Bronx Tale. Some really valuable life lessons in it. Great, great movie. Chaz Palminteri wrote it, and in fact, the play MV's talking about it's a one-man play also, and Chaz Palminteri plays like I think all the roles and narrates it. It's brilliant, 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 brilliant. Except, and I won't spoil it, there is an ironic, sad postscript to A Bronx Tale. So after you see the movie, Robbie, let me know and I'll tell you what the sad postscript is to A Bronx Tale. It's super ironic, super ironic. MV says he's going to put the third great one on hold. MV, since you know, let me ask you this, man, and then we do got to close this off. Now we have 7 viewers. MV, so you saw Bronx Tale. Did you do the Sunny test? Did you do the Sunny test with a girl? Right? The car door. Did you do that? I did. Yeah, women can be like cats, and I have two here. I know. Yeah. So got to find out if MV actually did the Sunny test. And it works. The Sunny test works. saw it on Broadway. It's nuts. I love A Bronx Tale. Love the music is amazing. You can tell De Niro took his sort of directorial tutelage from Martin Scorsese. It looks like a Scorsese film, but it's brilliant. Yep, MV says of course he did the Sunny test. I just did it 3 weeks ago. Yep, many failed. I just did it 3 weeks ago with the person I'm and dude, seriously, MV. So right, did the whole thing, shut the door, and I went around the back and I looked through the rear view window or the rear window, and damn it, she reached over and unlocked the door. How cool is that? One passed, yeah. You're no Robbie, no spoilers. You have to see the movie. You have to see A Bronx Tale. I think you can buy it on YouTube or rent it. It's worth it. You didn't love her, but at least she passed. Yeah, at least she passed though. So you know she has a good heart. She has a good heart, right? God, what are we? Now we're getting down. So now we're down to four. We're talking A Bronx Tale now. Robbie, you got to see the movie, man. I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil it. Somebody else wants to, that's fine, but you really got to see A Bronx Tale. It's a beautiful story, um, set in New York in the late 50s into the late 1960s. Yeah, Robbie, it's great. It's great. And then you got Robert De Niro, you got Chaz Palminteri. I mean, right there, that makes for a superb movie. It's so much, so much, and because I sort of grew up around that life, if you will, a lot of that, and being, you know, having on the Italian side of my family, having that as my parallel language, there's so much with that movie that resonated with me. But I think it's great. High, terribly underrated movie. All right. Yeah, me too. Right. This is fun. All right, MV, thank you. You guys, I already did my thank yous to everybody, so thank you again for making this such a fun night. It really was, and we're gonna end this now at 3 hours and 38 minutes. See you guys next time around. Take care. Appreciate everybody, and I truly mean it. Good night.